Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
The following is a special presentation of Extreme eSpeed TV, your new home for everything iRacing and eSpeed.
Good evening. It is Cool Ray Hometown Heroes Night here with the Coast to Coast Racing Leagues. My name is Travis Piercefield. I'm joined as usual by John Hine, and Coast to Coast Racing Network welcomes you to tonight's Cool Ray Hometown Heroes. As usual, we've got our street stocks, we've got our 305 sprints, we've got our UMPs, and we've got our Dash for Cash 360s. John, we are at Port Royal Speedway, a new addition to our circuits of tracks available on iRacing. What should we expect tonight up here in Pennsylvania? We have the street stocks out on the track right now. As we mentioned, we're at Port Royal Speedway tonight. We have plenty of action with 4 classes going this evening, and we are in week number 2 of our summer series. Tonight we have the Pitside Podcast UMP Modifieds, we have the A&J Custom Creations 305 Sprint Cars, and we have the Flatline Racing Bodies 360 Sprints that will be taking on Port Royal tonight, and it should be a lot of exciting fun here for week number 2. So last week in this series, we got underway with the Hometown Heroes. The street stocks were won by Randy Shreves. Zach Chapman has a win as well in the street stock series. and then plenty of action throughout the field. Looking at practice times right now, fastest on the track is Ryan Beagle. Second, Joe Canales. Butch Baker third. Isaac Salas in fourth. So plenty of exciting action tonight. It'll be interesting to see. We've got sprint cars coming on later in the evening. We've got UMP Modifieds. And as usual, thankful to all our sponsors supporting the league this summer. John Hine, as mentioned, will be joining us shortly here on the broadcast. As usual, we're thankful you're tuning in. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Racing practically every evening as we get started with our PA Posse pre-race show now. Going through those A&J Custom Creation standings as mentioned. Randy Shreves sits atop the chart with 148 points, just 1 point back as Blake Chapman. Zachary Chapman sits third. He is 12 points back. Nathan Aldridge fourth. And fifth is Jeff Flaro to round out our top five. That's a quick look at our street stock division presented by A&J Custom Creations.
Travis, I think my mic may be working now, if you can hear me.
We have got you, John. Welcome,
all right.
Welcome to the booth. We were just talking about being here with the Street Stocks for Hometown Heroes at Port Royal Speedway. A new track added to iRacing. Wanted to get your take on this new addition to availability on iRacing.
Well, it's really cool to welcome another track to the iRacing family here. And this one here is a fast one, lightning fast at that. A lot of history. I've already taken some laps in a sprint car here, not under race conditions. I've also done it in a late model, and this is going to be a lot of fun to tackle, and it's going to be very challenging. You carry a lot of speed into these corners. The big challenge is when you do that, and a guy like me that likes to get up there and ride that cushion, not to stick it in the fence every other lap. iRacing's got a new damage model, especially with the late model or a sprint car. Bad things are going to happen if you get up there and hit it. These street stocks, if you do that too often, you're going to get into trouble because this is going to be a track that guys could gain advantage actually running that top side there. So we got to be on the lookout for that too.
So looking at practice, Ryan Beagle sits atop the charts. He's running quite a bit lower line right now, and it's like we had on Thursday night here in the Coast to Coast Racing League, trying to find out where you can get an advantage. It does look like that top line has a majority of them working up top there, turning laps, and Ryan might just be taking his experience from up top down complete and looking around the track.
Yeah, and the neat thing about Ryan is I've seen some posts out there on the Facebook world. Ryan's actually drives these things in real life, street stocks, and he's had a strong start to his season. I think I saw him on the podium, or he might even won up there north of the border up in Canada. So we're happy to see Ryan back in action with us here tonight. He's going to be one to beat, and he's a guy, Travis, that if the top is working, he's going to be fast up there. If the bottom has got any speed to it, he's one of those guys that will make that bottom work and beat you that way too. So he's one of those guys that you've got to account for on the track, and definitely got to come in here as being one of the guys to beat tonight.
When a new track's added, John, what can it do, especially in a league like this that forces you to go there? Is it everyone kind of jumps at a new track and tries to get some laps on it? Do you wait until it's needed? I'm thinking of our points leader, Randy Shreves is currently 14th fastest. What could kind of give someone an advantage when a new track comes out?
Just laps. If you want to get there early, get some laps in whatever car you're going to be competing in. Yeah, that's always an advantage, and that's with any class that you're going to do. The big thing about getting familiar is some of the quirks. Every track has some quirks to them, and this one is no different. It I don't know why, but the feel going in, maybe it's the speed going into the corners. The cars kind of want to move a little bit more. You know, when you turn in, they still want to wash up a little bit, and in the corners, and you can actually make speed by doing that. Usually, you scrub speed off if you're like crossing lanes and whatnot, but here it seems to reward you a little bit. So those kind of things when a new track comes out, figuring those little things out, those little, if you look at the timesheet, you're talking fractions of a second, between being up, first to being seventh or eighth, so get out there and find those quirks out and get some speed. That's what you got to do.
Well, thank you for joining us. It is our PA Posse pre-race show. Currently, we're at Port Royal Speedway. It is the Cool Ray Coast to Coast Racing League. If you're looking for a racing league and enjoy it without the drama and the name calling of normal iRacing, come out and join Cool Ray Coast to Coast Racing League. 16 divisions that race 7 days a week and currently broadcast 9 divisions. Members know that they are part of something bigger than just on-track experience. Go to c2crl.com, click apply to learn more about joining the Coast to Coast Racing League. So practice is finishing up here for the street stocks, John. We're about to head into ABR Setup Shop qualifying session, and this will get our night going for Hometown Heroes. I'm excited to join you tonight, John. Normally is Andy in the driver's seat here for this broadcast, but I'm grateful and thankful to be able to join you here at Port Royal tonight. It's a track I haven't seen yet on iRacing, but I'm super excited to get there, and I know we have some other series that are heading there soon, so this is a good preview for me especially.
Yeah, and we work together normally, like you said, on Sunday nights, and it's gonna be a lot of fun sitting up here hanging out with you. We hope Andy has had some safe travels down to Florida, and we'll look forward to seeing him back here in a couple weeks. But until then, hey, we're gonna play in the dirt here tonight, Travis, and have some fun.
Yes, we are. It's going to make a couple nights of dirt racing action for the two of us in the booth, which is always fun. Definitely a change of pace from what we have in the Light Electric Company Next Gen series, the Xfinity series that we normally cover. As there are cars on the track for ABR Setup Shop qualifying now. Brandon Dittmer, Brandon Templeton shoot to the top of the charts early. And John, I wanted to share with you because I know you'll at least appreciate it. My day job took me over to Talladega Super Speedway today, and actually got to take a ride around that track over in Alabama.
That's something getting into that banking, isn't it?
Yeah, when I worked there about 10 years ago, I got to drive it, and the corners, the size, and the length that you're in them never ceases to amaze me.
Yeah, I tell people to kind of give, and everybody that, everybody's seen it on TV, and trust me, TV doesn't do it any justice. I mean, you can almost go and stand on the apron, put your arm straight out, and touch the track. It goes up almost that steep. I mean, it's pretty close to be able to do it. I mean, it's really incredible there, and I'm jealous, absolutely, that you got to drive around there. I've ridden. I've never got to drive on the track, but I have ridden around that place, and it's really something else.
It's really in its own league. There's really I was talking to someone today. There's no track like that anywhere in the world really.
No, there's not. And and when I got to do it, I was trying to visualize those guys being four wide at that speed. I mean, it looks wide on the track, and it is wide for most track standards. And I mean, it's wider than Daytona and places like that. But man, I'm just thinking at speed and knowing the vision and what happens at those speeds, how everything narrows up. It really puts it in perspective how good those guys really are.
So qualifying is happening now. We've got 13 cars qualified of 16. Currently sitting atop the charts is Isaac Salas. He's got a 22.71. His 5 machine there parked on the backstretch. Second is Brandon Dittmer. Third, Ryan Beagle. Fourth, Brandon Templeton and Butch Baker in fifth. As it looks like qualifying will come to an end, and we will go right into our heats, John, with our first starting lineup of the night.
Absolutely. First lineup is going to look like this. On the pole is going to be the 41 machine of Pat Boyce. Next to him will be Butch Baker. Starting in the second row will be the big dog, Ryan Beagle. Next to him will be our quick qualifier of the night, Isaac Salas. Starting in the fifth spot here tonight will be GJ Boydell. Next to him is going to be Zach Chapman. And the final row here will be Steven Bixler. And next to him is going to be Andy Patton, who did not turn in a qualifying time, and I don't know that he'll even make the grid here. I haven't seen him. He disconnected and has not made it back in, so he could be having, we'll just call it engine issues. So maybe he's changing some spark plugs or something else out there, and maybe he'll join us for the feature.
So the cars are lined up. We will get going. It's going to be Boyce and Baker on that front row.
Yeah, and that I was going to say, in that second row does have our quick qualifier. I want to point out there that number 5 machine of Isaac Salas. And here in C2C, we do invert the top 4 in each heat race. So if you're the quick qualifier, you'll be in the first heat, but you'll go back to 4th. Just also a reminder, the top 4 will actually go straight to the main event. Judging by the car count here tonight, everybody will make it, but the top 4 will go straight in. Everybody else have to run a B main here tonight.
So our Steve King Foundation Pace truck makes his debut of the evening. And tell you what, that inversion of the starting for the heats really brought some exciting action to our heat racing on Thursday night, John. Some of those guys get back in the pack that we know have fast cars, and watching them move up through the field is always exciting.
Yeah, I'm still trying to forget about Thursday night. I was able to come up through the pack and got wrecked twice, so not good memories. But yeah, it does present a challenge when you got a fast car. You're sitting there, and the thing is, Isaac right now, fastest car in the joint, based on qualifying. Here he is starting 4th. Well, 4th is the last transfer spot, so he can't afford to give anything up. He's got to race hard because those guys right behind him want to knock him out of that transfer spot and go right to the A's. So it really puts you in an interesting spot when we do that.
So the Pace truck dives into the infield. We've got heat race number 1 presented by Langton Mechanical here at Port Royal Speedway. It's going to be Boyce and Baker on that front row. And we are under green here at Port Royal for our first heat of Hometown Heroes tonight. Boyce trying to move up through the field along with Beagle, who was fast in practice, but it's going to be Baker that comes around and leads lap number 1 for us here.
Yeah, that entire outside line looked like the place to be. All 3 of those guys were able to take advantage of being up there, keep their cars wound up, keep that momentum up, and they're sitting there 1, 2, 3. And now Ryan Beagle is on the outside looking in. He is behind Pat Boyce here, and a little bit of contact actually between the two.
So it's Baker who leads again. We have got 4 laps to go. The top 3 have separated themselves from the rest of the field as we've gotten underway. Zach Chapman making a move for 2nd down the backstretch on Salas. Boyce Beagle still sitting back there in 4th and 5th, unable to make some ground, and Chapman continues to look for something to get by Salas.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult here because there's a lot of grip out there right now, and that means probably the fastest line is a pretty narrow line, so getting out of line probably isn't going to do you a whole lot of good here right now, but a little bit later on, I expect to see these guys all over the track.
So we will have 2 laps to go this time by for Baker. John, this is my first time with the street stocks. What do you normally see from a competition standpoint, what they're able to do with these street stocks out here?
Well, these cars are a little bit different. They're, a little bit underpowered compared to the stuff that you're used to seeing and calling. And, it's all about momentum in these cars. Keep that momentum up. If you go down and you lose your momentum, you can lose spots really fast because it could take you upwards of a half a lap to get that momentum back. But when it slicks off, oh my gosh, Travis, you'll see the best racing in iRacing with these cars with a good field.
So they'll make their way out of turn 4. It's going to be Baker on the outside. Salas tries to make a move on the inside, And it's Ryan Beagle who pulls up into that fourth and final transfer spot as Langton Mechanical Heat Race number 1 comes to a close. And there you see our finishing lineup. It's Baker, Salas, Chapman, and Beagle that will transfer on to the feature event.
Yeah, now we're getting Heat 2 gridded up here, and on the pole, and a Canadian, another one. We've got a bunch of them in the field here tonight. We mentioned that with Ryan Beagle, but Jeff Flero will be on the pole. Next to him is going to be Jeff Barker. Starting in the second row for this heat will be Brandon Templeton, and next to him will be another Brandon. It'll be Brandon Dittmer in the 83. Starting in the fifth will be Rance Llewellyn, a newcomer here to C2C, and next to him will be number 1 of Joe Canellis. Starting out back will be Dean Meitzler. I don't know that Randy will be. I don't know that Randy will be entering here. Randy Shreves is scheduled to start 7th, but I don't know that he would be here.
We're showing Shreves and Meitzler not on the grid.
Yeah, I saw the pit notes that we issue, and Shreves was supposed to be parked this week for wall riding, kind of gaining an advantage up on that wall last week. So I don't know if the message got passed along to him or not, but if he joins us a little later on, then we'll just know that it didn't get passed on. But yeah, he's not supposed to be running any of the classes here tonight.
So that will shake up our street stock standings as he came in as our points leader.
Absolutely.
So
But there are drop weeks in here too also, so keep that in mind. He does get that drop week, and that's going to eat up a drop week. So now all of a sudden, instead of having been able to use that for maybe a bad race, that's one less race that you get that mulligan for.
all important when looking at the complete summer season here in Coast to Coast Racing League. So up front, it's going to be Flero and Barker on row number 1 there. Brandon Templeton and Brandon Dittmer in that row number 2. Templeton makes a lot of appearances in a lot of different series throughout the racing league. So a lot of experience in that 31.
Yeah, he's a jack of all trades, and he's good in every one of them. But check that paint scheme out on that 83 car. That's a pretty cool paint scheme. A little shout out and salute to our veterans out there, but very cool paint scheme.
Very cool for the P40 there. It's like bullet holes in the back and the side.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So the Steve King Foundation Pace Truck pulls into the infield. It's going to be Flero and Barker leading us to green in heat race number 2, presented by Magnum Race Design. And we've got some cars shooting, including our leader to that inside line. Templeton's down there as well. They'll come up into that high line as they're 3 wide going into 3 for 3rd.
Yeah, and the 3 of them will fit. No, we got contact towards the back there. Jeff Barker's going to be the big loser on that. Got tapped by the 83, and he does lose a couple of spots. But here we go back into turn 1 here, and everybody's up top with the exception of the 83 there, Brandon Dittmer.
So Barker's the one that will get shuffled back. The top 4 currently Flero, Templeton, Llewellyn, and Dittmer, as Canellis looks to gain on that top 4 who set themselves apart here early in this race. Still 4 laps to go in our heat race number 2. Great run from Templeton through the middle of the corner. As he tries to make a move on Flero down the backstretch, he'll fall back in line.
Going through there, we were talking about Talladega earlier, man. That almost looked like bump drafting through that corner, turns 1 and 2 there for that lap.
So in a street stock, when you get some momentum like that, John, and it comes to an abrupt halt, what does that do for your momentum then coming out of the corner?
It kills you. Absolutely kills you, because you step on the gas this quickly. This engine doesn't have enough just to get back on it. You'll lose probably, I don't know, maybe a car length and a half before you get back up the full song. And you're not back up the full song probably until you're entering the next corner.
As we see it there with Llewellyn trying to make a move, ends up losing a spot. Cut out a line, tried to make something else work. Top 4 continue to pull away. Those are the 4 that will transfer automatically out of this heat race. And it's going to be Flero taking the white flag this time by.
I saw the whole field get up into the wall right there, and that's you got to be careful with that.
Llewellyn continues to try to find something around the track, maybe looking for later. He'll fall back in line, and they will come through turns 3 and 4 one more time here at Port Royal. And it's going to be the number 200 of Jeff Flero taking heat race number 2, presented by Magnum Race Design.
A nice nose to tail finish there. Not a whole lot of space between all those guys. And I'm thinking the track now in this B main will start to go through a change where I do think that you're going to be able to start searching around and maybe find somebody or find something. But, I guess we're not going to do B main here. We're going to go straight to the feature. So I stand corrected here. This warm up will allow this track to get run in a little bit better. So this feature, don't expect that single file running.
Cars will make their way out for tonight's feature event for the street stocks. As we have warm-ups, we will have our flat line intermission session here, John.
Yeah, and this is a good chance to get your car worked out, get up top, feel what your car is going to do up there. Then I would be working the bottom, I'd be working the middle, because if everybody's up top, you got to figure out ways to get around them. You can't drive through them. You got to figure out what's it going to take to get around the bottom. What is your lap times around the bottom? And then, you can, once you get in the feature, you can be monitoring your lap times. And, if you get to a certain number and you're like, hey, that's what I ran on the bottom, then it's time to go down there and give that a shot and see what happens.
As we watch them make some laps. Couple speeds coming in. Ryan Beagle again shooting to the top. So in these solo run practice sessions, Ryan Beagle's been fast, Templeton's fast, Boyce is sitting up there as well towards the top. Zach Chapman's up there as well, currently in second fastest.
Yeah, Zach is a former street stock champion here in C2C long ago. When we had him the last time around, probably, maybe, I don't know if it's been a year or maybe a couple of years ago, but Zach's pretty good in these cars too.
John, could you kind of talk about what it's like, that transition coming out of 4? We've seen a lot of guys have problems getting into that guardrail as they come off of 4 down the front stretch.
Yeah, the guardrail is not that lined up with the wall. The guardrail, if you look at it when you come out of the corner, is maybe about a foot, maybe a foot and a half in front of where the wall is. And as a driver, you're looking ahead on the track. You're not really looking over. At least you're not supposed to be looking right off your nose. So you're looking ahead at that wall, and you're driving out to the hard wall. But the problem is that other wall is there and can catch you if you're not careful. So you've really got to turn away from that wall a little bit coming out, which means you're putting a lot of wheel into it. And as it slicks up, when you got a lot of wheel crank, that car can break loose at any point.
I've watched a lot of all-star sprint cars on Flow Racing at Port Royal, and that wall will jump out and catch them there quite often.
Yeah, Fairbury is much like that too. Anytime, because like I said, as a driver, even in the real world, you're looking ahead. You're looking on the track. You want to drive to where you're looking, and when those walls don't match up, you're looking at that wall and you think that's your point. But that foot can matter. So we'll see if that comes into play here tonight.
Awesome, John. We have our starting lineup for tonight's Street Stock feature event.
Absolutely. Starting on the pole tonight for our feature is going to be the 97 of Butch Baker. To his outside is going to be Jeff Flero. Starting in the inside of row number 2 will be Isaac Salas. Next to him is going to be Brandon Templeton. Starting in the third row tonight will be Zach Chapman. Next to him will be Brandon Dittmer. Starting 7th tonight will be the big dog, Ryan Beagle. Next to him will be Rance Llewellyn. Starting 9th and 10th will be G.J. Boydell and Joe Canellis. Starting 11th will be Pat Boyce. 12th will be Jeff Barker. Starting 13th will be Stephen Bixler. Next to him will be Dean Meitzler. Andy Patton and Randy Shreves will be out back, but we didn't see Andy in the heat, and I don't know that either one of those guys are gridded. So back row be Bixler and Meitzler.
That starting lineup presented by We Let the Dogs Out for you. We have our Street Stock feature event here for Hometown Heroes. The Stephen King Foundation Pace Trucks back out on the track. And we're about to knock out our first feature of the evening, John. We don't have John pick his pick for winner, but is there anyone that stands out that you think will be tough to beat tonight?
Yeah, I think 3 names that come to mind right off the bat. I think Isaac Salas is one of them, Zach Chapman's another, and Ryan Beagle. I'm going to have my eye on those 3 guys and see what they do tonight.
So the pace truck presented by Stephen King Foundation will dive on into the infield. And it's going to be Baker and Flaro leading us to green here at Port Royal Speedway. And our Street Stock feature event is underway. 20 laps around Port Royal Speedway. They're side by side as they go through 1 and 2. As Baker jumps out to the lead, Flaro will cross him over, get to his inside down the backstretch as they're 2 by 2 the first 4 rows.
Yeah, they are, and everybody looks to be trying to migrate to the top here, but a lot of guys, more than what we saw in the heat races, are staying down low. But right away, we do see cars going down low to see if they can make any ground there.
Flaro will be down there in second, won't make any ground there as he'll jump up in front of the freight train coming up on the outside. That forces Templeton to shoot to the inside through 3 and 4.
Yeah, that's a nice textbook slide job there, completed by Templeton. But you see the 200 cross them over here as they go back into turn 1 here, side by side.
They continue to race side by side for a second. Templeton will have momentum. And now the 5 of Salas now gets up alongside Flaro as well. And he'll force it into that high line going into 3.
He needed to do that or he was about to get freight train back to about 8th or 9th.
A handful of cars made contact with that turn 4 wall as out front it's Baker with Templeton right behind him. Salas, great momentum throughout the middle of the corner as he'll get up alongside of Templeton down the backstretch.
Another slide job here by Templeton. We saw him do this earlier, but this time it looks like Baker's able to cross him over and really get a little bit of extra room as they go down the front stretch.
Great battle up front, great battle back in the pack as well. As you've got Ryan Beagle on that inside line trying to make something work. He was battling Chapman the lap before. Now he's alongside of Rance Llewellyn. And out front, it's Butch Baker able to pull away. He's got the biggest gap of the race so far between he and Templeton in second. Third it's Salas, fourth it's Flaro, fifth it's Dittmer. As we've got 15 laps to go around Port Royal.
Yeah, here we go to complete lap number 6, and we've done it all caution-free here now as the field starts to get strung out a little bit. Has a look of a long green flag run. Maybe we might even go caution-free here. And as I say that,
the kiss of death, John.
I'm telling you. Wow, unbelievable.
So our Malcolm Mills mill writing replay, our first caution of the evening. It looked like Flaro may have had a glitch there, ended up hitting the wall coming out of 4.
I think the caution was actually for Ryan Beagle over, and wow. I look like some funky net code. That is a glitch that iRacing probably is going to have to look at. Watch the 84 in turn 1 and 2.
He stopped on a dime.
He sure did. And he doesn't have any damage. It's I'm looking at the car. He didn't. I mean, he's going to the pits, I'm sure, to get his fast repair, but that car looks pristine.
So that will bring out our first caution of the night. Next we'll have our Mission 22 restart. as the Stephen King Foundation Pace Truck makes his first appearance of the feature event.
You know, that what happened down there, I don't know if you remember when Weedsport first came out. Down low in turn 4, where that wall is at Weedsport, even though it didn't show that it was out on the track, if you got too close to it, it would do the exact same thing to you. It'd hit you and flip you over
I do
every
remember
time.
that. Yep.
Every time. And that had the look of something very similar to that.
So looking ahead, our hard charger so far is that number 1 of Joe Canellis. He is up 3 spots. He started 10th. He's now running 7th. So our hard charger award presented by Chipfinger Racing. We'll keep an eye on that. The remainder of this is we've got 13 laps to go in our street stock main event here at Port Royal. You've got Butch Baker, Brandon Templeton out up front. And this will pack the field back up, which was really racy early on the start of the race. It started to get spread out, especially that top 4. So we'll see what this restart will do to this field as we go back to green.
And if they get strung out again, I'll just mention that we haven't had a caution in a while, and we'll get one.
It worked the first time.
It sure did.
And we're back to green. Great start by Baker. He's able to jump out front. He'll jump up into that high line. The 5 of Salas will stay low. You also see the Dittmer 83 car down there as well, trying to make something work early on this restart.
Yeah, that middle looks to be really close to having the same as that top line there, but that top is just really prevailing with those guys.
So Racy throughout. Zach Chapman races up into the top 5 now as Baker holds off the charge on the restart. 12 laps to go as they go down the backstretch. And now it's Dittmer battling Chapman and Llewellyn for 6th position.
A lot of contact with that turn 4 wall with those leaders too.
They continue to battle back in the back. Up front, still Baker, Templeton, Salas, setting themselves apart. There's contact between 3rd place Salas and Templeton in 2nd. That'll bring out our 2nd caution.
Yeah, looked like Salas had a really good run and just didn't check up there and got in the back of Templeton and got him around. Which would probably be pretty easy to do right there, because remember what I said about, having to put a lot of wheel into it to turn away from that wall coming out. Well, when you got wheel turned and somebody gets into the back of you, you better hang on. More times than not, you're going to go around.
So that will shake things up as Templeton was running 2nd. He'll now restart back in the pack. It's 11 laps to go in our street stock main event. It is Cool Ray Hometown Heroes for the Coast to Coast Racing League tonight. Zach Chapman's quietly moved up to 4th. Lance Llewellyn now up 3 spots to 5th. Jeffrey Barker is now our hard charger, currently up 5 spots. He started 12th up to 7th, so a good run for him tonight.
Travis, as they circle around the track here, I'm noticing all the houses around this track. Can you imagine having to try to keep the inside of those houses clean?
There's that, and it's just it's something I've noticed with Pennsylvania dirt tracks. They're right in the community. Right in the community.
Yep.
Houses right down the backstretch. For where I'm from in Michigan, that's not the case up there. And it's always stuck out to me where you just have a neighborhood right next door to the track.
Yeah, I mean, I probably go out and crawl on my roof and watch the races every week, but man, I can't imagine the dust collecting up on those houses and around those houses.
Yeah, I'm sure as you run the heat or the air in your house, you notice a little bit more dust in these communities than normal.
Well, good news. Everybody's got N95 masks these days, so just pop it on. You don't have to believe the dirt, I guess.
Exactly. Just sitting at home, listening to the racing next door, and wearing your mask. As Baker brings us back to green, he'll shoot out front again, get up into that high lane, which is the preferred line for him. Salas second. Flaro's the first car to jump down to that inside. As we've got 10 laps to go in our street stock main event, Zachary Chapman moves up to third. He is moving up and moving fast through this field.
Yeah, he sure is, and he gave Salas a nice push down that front straightaway, it looked like. And now the top three have kind of settled amongst themselves here, and we got just a handful of laps here, just under 10 to go here when we crossed our finish line.
And you can see as they move, especially through turns 1 and 2, the middle of the corner over there, they are really working, and those cars have quite a bit of movement and bump to them to make their way through.
Yeah, and that's what I said early on about when you get in there with all that speed, those cars move, and that's why these guys keep bouncing off that wall up there in 3 and 4. They got to figure out how not to be doing that, but man, these cars move a heck of a lot. They're so much heavier than the other cars. At least they feel that way.
They'll make their way through 3 and 4. It'll be 7 laps to go this time by. Great race for third between Chapman and Llewellyn. As Llewellyn makes a move on the inside of Chapman, Chapman will take that spot back coming off the corner. In a street stock like this, John, what's the best way to set somebody up to get by them?
Probably on corner exit. If you can get a good run where you can pull down and maybe get your nose in front of them, or you can maybe slide them going into the next corner, that's probably going to be your best course of action. We saw Brandon Templeton do that quite well earlier in the night.
So Baker's pulled away. He's got about 6/10 of a lead on Salas. He continues to have trouble getting through 3 and 4. As Salas continues to try to chase him down, Chapman and Llewellyn are nose to tail for 3rd and 4th. And Jeff Flaro, who started on the front row, is now currently sitting 5th. Slide job by Llewellyn as he comes up in front of Chapman, and he's able to make it work.
Yeah, that was a textbook move. Really nice job there. I'll see if he has anything. Maybe, now he's going to try to reel in that 5, and he'll try to probably do the exact same thing again to him.
As middle of turns 3 and 4 continues to be an issue as they've really cleaned up the exit of turn 4. And Chapman now tries to battle back on Llewellyn, gets into him in the middle of the corner. That'll set him back. They continue to battle for that 3rd position.
Yeah, they're trading blows, that's for sure, here for that 3rd spot.
Just good old street stock bumping and banging around Port Royal as Chapman's able to get in front of Llewellyn. Fun battle. It's going to be Baker coming to the white flag this time by.
Here comes a Hail Mary slider out of the 33 there, and Zach's able to cross them over cleanly. That's the first time I've seen those two guys be somewhat clean around each other.
So up front, it's going to be Butch Baker leading Salas. Chapman and Llewellyn continue to battle for 3rd behind them. And if he gets through 3 and 4 clean, which he will come to the checkered and win the street stock main event. Back in 3rd and 4th, it's Chapman and Llewellyn battling to the line. It's going to be Chapman in 3rd, Llewellyn in 4th.
Yeah, nice top 3 there. Be interesting to talk to those guys and get their opinions there, because those guys made a heck of a lot of contact with that wall.
So we will have the top 3 pull around. We will get interviews with them. Our Chip Banger Racing Hard Charger of the Award will go to that 133 of Rance Llewellyn, finishing 4th after starting 8th.
I don't know if these guys are knowing where to go to do their victory. The victory lane is on the front, inside the front wall. It's kind of funny watching them. I don't know if they know where the heck they're going.
It looks like our winner's making his way around there. He's gonna go over to the scales over there in turn 3 first.
Zach's taking a shortcut. Well, new track. Got to figure out where Victory Lane is, I guess.
It's a good problem to have.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And there we go. The 97 of Baker pulls into Port Royal Victory Lane.
And then he exits out, so the admins aren't going to be able to get a picture. Oh, lordy, lordy. New track, new things to have to figure out. Like you said, it's a good problem, I guess, for these drivers.
So as the guys get out of their cars and get ready, we do have our third place finisher. John, I think you've got Zach Chapman joining you.
Sure, Zach, this is John. You got a copy?
Yeah, hey, what's going on, guys?
Man, what a nice race there, buddy. You got in third. A lot of contact, though, between you and Lance. Walk me through those last few laps there and tell me how you got the job done.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to get myself into any trouble, but I'm sure you guys could see it on the broadcast. A lot of people beating down the wall, and I wasn't going to get past like that. So I got a little aggressive back, and I feel like didn't wreck them or anything, just rubbins racing in these, and I got it done.
You sure did. Do you think you had anything for those leaders? Because, when all things were equal, it looked like it was just almost like a one lane out there. I was really surprised that nobody's able to get that bottom or that middle work. And was there just not enough guys doing it, or is this just going to end up being a top lane dominant track?
Honestly, I mean, Isaac, I mean, hats off to him. He played good defense for his teammate, just like I could tell on that restart. I mean, I heard the broadcast in my ear. Actually, I heard you mention how I gave Isaac a push down the straightaway. I definitely did. He was, letting him get out, see what was going on. So I was just trying to make it a 3-car race, and it seemed like when it was, I was right up behind Isaac. But whenever the guy in fourth come up behind me, and I kept getting hit in the rear end. So I mean, I had to stay there and play defense.
Yeah, absolutely. I was cracking up watching you push down the front straight. We actually saw that more than one time from a couple different guys that you can lock bumpers there, and I'm gonna bet you can actually go a little faster down the straightaway when you do that. So that's maybe one to put in your back pocket and keep in mind next time you're out there. But congratulations on a great podium finish, a good start to your hometown heroes night. Anybody you'd like to give a shout out here?
Shout out to you, and Travis. You guys do amazing in the booth, and also to you as a teammate. I wouldn't be where I am at this game, without you and everybody else at Gambler. You guys are a big part of my success, and of course, Cool Ray, Heating and Cooling, Young Gun Creations, and I guess, of course, last but not least, my wife. And that's all for this evening.
Well, congratulations again, Zach. Are we going to see you around for the other divisions here tonight?
I'm not going to run the 305 here next, but I'll be here for the UMPs for sure.
Well, awesome. Good luck a little bit later on for that, and hopefully we'll talk to you again, buddy.
Alrighty, thanks, guys.
That's Zach Chapman, our third place finisher.
Now joining us, John, we've got Isaac Salas. Isaac, it's Travis up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
So we saw a lot of good racing, good hard racing during that street stock. Amen. First, I kind of want to go back to your battle between you and Templeton. Could you kind of walk us through what happened between the two of you there?
Yeah, first off, I completely apologize to Brandon. That was, I don't know, I must have ran out of talent or something. I mean, I would have loved to finish one, I would have loved to have a good 1-2 with Butch, for Venom, but that wasn't the way that I wanted it to go down, and I just ended up getting into him. I apologize.
We saw a lot of it tonight with these cars here at Port Royal. Could you kind of talk us through what it was like when you would, for whatever reason, gain some momentum? Sometimes it was you as the back car. Sometimes that car in front of you was getting into the wall. There was a lot of momentum shifts throughout all the corners. Could you kind of talk us through what was happening with that and how you would have to react to that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the biggest thing was turns 3 and 4 for me. I couldn't get it turned. I don't know. There must have been a bump or something that I just kept smacking, and then I should have realized I was. Probably could have actually battled Butch for first there, but it kind of was all just about how you hit your line and if you try to stay off the wall, stay off the other guys. So if they had a kind of a rough corner, then you try to stay off of them and lose momentum for the next lap and a half, trying to gain that momentum back. But I mean that's part of it. You can't always be just this perfect, nice normal corner. So sometimes it's gonna happen.
Well, great run tonight, Alex. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to close out our street stock event?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Dean in the Super Dirt Car Series. I guess it's just the Dirt Car Series on the Dirt Street Stock. But big shout out to them. Venom Racing, again, like this is cool. I mean, it's an awesome 1-2, and I'm glad that Butch is gonna get his first coast to coast win. Uh, I just wish I wouldn't have taken Templeton out to get the second to finish the 1-2 off. So I do apologize. Um, all the sponsors, everyone that comes and supports me on a week to week basis, that makes this so much fun. Uh, everyone that comes and races, even just like puts on a good show. Roger Preston, all the admin crew of Coast to Coast, just Coast to Coast in general, and then you guys for the broadcast. I'm pretty excited to watch it back.
Well, great run tonight, Isaac. Are we going to see you in any other series tonight here at Port Royal?
You will get to deal with me all night long. So hopefully, I don't do that again. But I'll be around.
Awesome. We look forward to hopefully talking to you again soon, Isaac. Have a great rest of the evening. And now I'm going to throw it over to John, who has our A main feature winner.
Yeah, Butch, this is John up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, buddy.
Well, man, hey, you nailed your first C2C win here tonight. How does it feel?
Yes, sir. I sure did. It feels pretty good. It feels pretty good. I screwed up the picture and exited my car early, but other than that, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good.
Oh, trust me. Go back and watch the replay. We were having fun at all three of your expenses. All of you guys trying taking different routes to get to that. So,
right.
a little bit of an entertaining moment there. But
there you go.
Walk me through what was kind of going through your mind as the laps are going down. Like, your first win in the balance area, you had to go through some restarts, and I know it had to be helpful knowing you had your teammate there behind you, but probably still didn't help calm the nerves any, I would suspect.
Actually, no. I mean, he was coaching me the whole way through, and if it wasn't for him, I don't know if I'd have got the win. I mean, he was keeping me calm and, let me know that I had lots of room, and he was helping me on restarts. We were strategizing about that, and he helped me get good restarts and get back out into the lead, and then it was like I'd say the last 5 or 6 laps. It was an eerie calm. I was just driving, I was like, I didn't hear or see anything else around me. It was just me and the track. It was crazy.
Well, man, you got the job done, and you finally are going to get a winner sticker here. So congratulations on that. Are we going to see you here the rest of the night? Anything else?
I don't know. Possibly. Me and Zach were just talking. Maybe in the UMPs. I don't know. I probably won't run sprints though. I'm not that good at them. I'll just get in everybody's way.
Understood. I feel that way too sometimes when I run those cars, so I can understand totally. But hey, man, congratulations again. Anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
Oh yeah, I got to thank all the guys over at Venom Racing. We all try and do a good job of supporting each other. And a huge shout out to Isaac for helping me get that one. He was building my confidence right from practice all the way through, through the feature and guiding me and coaching me. And if it wasn't for him, like I said, I don't think I'd have got it. And got to give a shout out to Super Dirt Car Series and also SD Audio and Coast to Coast. And you guys, you guys putting a broadcast on every week. So thank you.
Oh, thank you, Isaac. Good luck here. If you do decide to suit up for those UMPs, hopefully we'll talk to you again a little bit later on. That is, sorry, Butch, not Isaac. I heard you mention Isaac's name. I don't know how many times tonight. But yeah, that's Butch Baker, our street stock hometown heroes winner for the night.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
So, John, a great division of street stock racing. We are going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, Coolray Hometown Heroes will continue. We will have the 305s presented by A&J Custom Creations. We will be back soon, John. In the meantime, make sure you like the Coast to Coast Racing League Facebook page. Extreme eSpeed TV has a Facebook page as well. See all the series that John and I are involved in from that standpoint. But we will see you soon, as we will return soon back to Port Royal Speedway.
In our industry. The lifetime parts and labor warranty is pretty awesome. Basically, all the parts are covered, the labor and everything. When we say lifetime, we mean lifetime, and it's supported with money-back guarantees. And with that, you're getting all qualified technicians that are going to ensure that this job is done perfectly and operates perfectly throughout the life of the unit.
Learn more about our Coolray lifetime parts and labor warranty at Coolray.com. Coolray and Carrier. Turn to the experts.
and welcome back to Port Royal Speedway as we have Cool Ray Hometown Heroes. We continue with our action. It is the A&J Custom Creations 305 sprints now out on the track, getting some laps in, getting some practice in as Hometown Heroes continues. John, as we switch over to the 305s, what is going to be the different type of racing we shift to from the street stocks?
I think you're going to see something. We talked about Talladega earlier, and when you think of Talladega, you think of pack racing, and I think we're going to maybe see that here. I'm out through the magic of iRacing, ghosting with these guys right now, so I'm on track and wide open, any lane you want to be in, and you can make time. So I think with this big wing and all the downforce it generates, guys are going to be all over each other here for the entire half mile every lap.
So as practice gets underway, it's Brian Moore Sr. shooting to the top of the charts. Chris Schaefer is second. Third is Andrew Smith. Fourth is Bob DeGood. And fifth is Joseph Grandy, someone we just saw. Isaac Salas is out on the track as well, really trying to get into the motion of switching from that street stock to the 305. We saw a lot of riding up around the top of the track during that street stock event, John. What will these cars be able to do that maybe we didn't see with the street stocks?
Well, it's not going to be a matter of what they can do; it's what they can't do. They're going to be just like the street stocks. A lot of guys are going to want to be right up top, right up against that wall, just like you saw in the street stocks. But what they can't do is be bouncing off the wall. There's no fenders on these cars, as you can easily see, and you catch that right rear out on that wall at some point, it's going to get you into trouble. And if you're in a pack, like I suspect you probably will be in the feature, you're going to get into a big wreck. So guys are going to have to just be careful up top, and I would definitely be trying to run the bottom or the middle here, some just to get a feel for it.
So as we get going, we had a first race of the spring season last year. It was Blake Chapman that picked up the victory there. He's currently standing atop our point standings for the series. Second, we have Randy Shreves. He will not be here tonight. Andrew Smith tied with him for second. Joe Halter fourth, and Nicholas Vickery in fifth. All those guys were able to pick up top 10 finishes last week at I-55. So the racing action switches over here. We've got the A&J Custom Creations 305 Sprint Car Series here at Port Royal, and it's going to be a great evening of racing action. We've got all night here on Cool Ray Hometown Heroes. Next up, we've got the Flatline Racing Bodies UMPs, and then our Gambler Motorsports Dash for Cash, as we're going to get started with qualifying here with the 305s.
Yeah, and for qualifying here with these cars, you just put your foot in it and turn left. That you make sure you figure out which line you want to be on. I'm going to suspect being down against the wall is probably going to be the quicker line with these cars, at least for qualifying. So we'll have to see how fast they go.
That was some very intriguing Larry McReynolds type insight there for this qualifying run, John.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot to it. Big track, it's fast, and you just got to be very, very line sensitive. Make sure you hit those marks perfectly. You miss it by I don't know, 12 inches. That could be the difference between you being up front and you having to be back there trying to get a transfer spot in a heat race.
So as these guys complete their qualifying runs, hey John, I thought of you the other day. Do you remember the show back in the '90s, Home Improvement?
I do.
Remember when Tim Allen or Tim Taylor in the show would make a comment that some people might find rude, and then Al would hold up the address to send your complaint to the show?
Yes.
I think for when it comes to certain comments about the racing, certain comments about the drivers, or picking guys that end up in the fence or wrecked, I think I'm going to give them your home address to send you that letter to moving forward.
Just give them my email. That probably, especially the whole picking and then guys wrecking. I still can't believe it happened somewhat again earlier. Yeah, I could see that. But you know, a lot of times I just try to call it like I see it. You know, and guys make mistakes. I mean, heck, I've been in a car, I've made mistakes too. You know, everybody's out here trying to push and get what they can, and you know, if I do make a call that could maybe seem like you know, maybe assigning blame a little bit on somebody, you know, hell, I've been in incidents where I'm the one to blame. I've been penalized and you know, had those heat EOLs and all that kind of stuff too. I mean, it happens, and I wouldn't get too caught up in it, but I know some guys it does ruffle feathers, especially when I pick them and then they're upside down in 2 laps. I think that makes them more mad than when I might call them out for something on the track.
We have no homers in this booth,
Nope.
as we've got Blake Chapman currently in the points lead. He won last week at I-55. He's atop the charts here for qualifying. He's about 9/100ths faster than Kurt Schatzer. Pat Boyce is third fastest. Brian Moore Sr. fourth, and Joe Canellis is fifth currently. Isaac Salas sixth. We just saw him in the street stocks with a runner-up feature event finish there.
Yeah, Blake Chapman is a former Renegades champion, a couple times over Renegades champion, which is our premier division here in C2C. He's lightning fast in these cars, and it shows here he's a 10th quicker than everybody else, but everybody else is like wadded together. So, you know, going back to that whole pack racing, I really, really think we're going to see that tonight.
So ABR Setup Shop qualifying comes to an end. That shifts us over to our heat races. Heat race number 1 presented by Langston Mechanical, and John has our starting lineup.
On the pole is going to be the 23 of Chris Schaefer. Next to him will be the 83. We saw him in that awesome looking shot up P40 street stock. He's traded it for a fire breathing open wheel sprint here. That's going to be Brandon Dittmer. On the inside of row number 2 is going to be Brian Moore Sr. Next to him will be our quick qualifier of the night. That is going to be Blake Chapman getting that invert. Starting in 5th here tonight is going to be Dean Reynolds. Next to him will be, it's going to be an all Dean row. It's going to be the Dean's List row. Dean Reynolds and Dean Meitzler starting 5th and 6th, and starting out back is Jeff Flero. And we saw Flero. Was it Flero that had didn't grid in the other race, or we had a couple guys do this, but this time Flero didn't make a qualifying run, but he is out there for the heat race.
So we have our Stephen King Foundation pace truck leading the field around the track. And we are about to get going with our heat race number 1 presented by Langston Mechanical to get our 305 sprint cars underway here tonight. 7 cars in this field. 4 will transfer, which both tonight, earlier with the street stocks, and last Thursday night, some great battles back in the pack for that 4th and final transfer spot during the heat racing.
Absolutely, and it's always good to watch these guys. And you know, you take the transfer spot out of it, everybody still wants to finish as far up front as they can. I mean, this is actually, of the sprint cars, this is the lowest powered sprint car, so it's a momentum car. Make no mistake about it. You don't have the power you do in a 360 or 410, so you want to be up front.
So Dittmer and Schaefer will come out of turn 4. They will take us to green in heat race number 1 for the 305 sprints. And it's going to be Schaefer. Great restart there on that inside. Blake Chapman trying to get that high side to come in as he makes a move for 4th. And they are side by side coming out of 4 for the lead.
And you already see a big difference between here and the street stocks. You had guys down on the inside wall. You had guys on the outside wall. You had guys going right through the middle. So they're all over this track right now.
So Schaefer's able to pull away. The battle start for 2nd as they're almost 3 wide coming out of 4. It's Dittmer. Chapman makes a move up to 3rd now, but he's still got the 558 of Brian Moore to his inside.
Yeah, and you got the 3 of them, and then now you see the 558 there of Brian Moore kind of toe the line there going through 3 and 4, but I tell you, Schaefer is on the bottom, and those guys are not reeling him in up top. But now 3 wide coming out of turn 2.
Dittmer's up on that high side. Him being the leader of the pack probably has the preferred high line. Chapman right in his trails. And Schaefer continues to pull away from this group and lead, running a much lower line than the next 4.
Yeah, now you got Dean Reynolds here in that 79 car that wants to join this party and then see if he can get himself up into one of those prime 4 spots up here.
So 3 laps to go this time by. It's Schaefer out front. We're watching a battle for 2nd through 5th as they continue to get into the top 4 for the automatic transfer. Chapman battling for 2nd after starting 4th. He was our fast qualifier in ABR setup shop qualifying.
Yeah, nothing is settled there, 2nd through 5th. Dean Reynolds goes all the way down right on the wall, and he makes up ground there, but he seems to lose it a little bit coming out of the corner.
So now it's Moore and Reynolds continue to battle for that 4th and final transfer spot as Dittmer and Chapman continue to battle for 2nd. Dittmer's moved down a little bit as he enters turns 1 and 2 to hold off Chapman.
And Chapman's going to attempt to stay down there to try to get that 2nd, and the same thing with Reynolds to try to get over that 4th, and looks like Chapman may beat him to the line, and wow, nice finish.
So it's going to be Chris Schaefer with heat race number 1 victory. We will have our finishing results. So it's
Blake Chapman was 2nd, Brandon Dittmer 3rd, and Brian Moore rounded out the top 4.
And that moves us on to heat race number 2 presented by Magnum Race Design. And our starting lineup, John?
Yeah, heat number 2 as they roll off. It's going to be Bob DeGood on the pole here. Next to him is going to be Andrew Smith. Second row is going to be Joe Canellis and Kurt Schatzer. Our late model champion, might I add, Kurt Schatzer there on the outside of row 2. Starting 5th here is going to be Jeff Kemper and Mark Swain, and out back is going to be Andy Patton.
So that is your starting lineup here for Magnum Race Design Heat Race number 2. The Stephen King Foundation Pace Trucks back out leading the field as it does every heat, B main and A main event we have here in the Coast to Coast Racing League. Bob DeGood's got a sharp looking car. I also like that 79 machine of Andrew Smith there in row number 1.
Oh yeah, that's pretty sharp. Yeah, both those cars on that front row real sharp. Also, just a note, Andy Patton, who is scheduled to start 7th in this race, is not on the field. He may be admitting, or nope, never mind. I see that he is once again loaded up, maybe still continuing to have maybe some computer issues.
So the pace truck dives to the infield. It's going to be Bob DeGood, Andrew Smith leading our field to green here in heat race number 2. 4 cars will transfer. And as they come out of turn 4, Bob DeGood, Andrew Smith lead the field down. And we will go green in heat race number 2 for the 305s here at Port Royal. Bob DeGood to the inside. One of Joe Canellis makes a move as well from that inside line. He'll battle DeGood for the lead down the backstretch.
Yeah, those guys, all 3 of them are right there over each other, but no separation in this field, and you see them widen out. Once again, different lines being used as they go through 3 and 4.
Many more options with these 305s than we saw with the street stocks, as DeGood will come up in front of Canellis for the lead. As he's now moved to the inside, Canellis is now taking a claim to that high side.
Yeah, he has, and we're starting to see, just as I suspected, that pack racing. I mean, 1st through 5th, they're just slicing and dicing around each other.
And again, that battle 3rd through 5th has intensified in this heat race, as you've got Kemper, Smith, and Schatzer battling for that transfer spot.
Yeah, and Schatzer is trying everything he can, throwing about everything but the kitchen sink at Andrew Smith right now, as the front 2 are starting to get a little close here and starting to kind of battle a little bit.
So Schatzer really looking for anything that will open up to try to get past the 2 in front of him. It's Bob DeGood out front still. It'll be 3 laps to go this time by, as we continue to watch that battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Schatzer will make a move. He'll get past Kemper as he follows right in the tracks of the 79 of Smith.
Contact between Kemper and Schatzer there. Looks like Schatzer wanted to kind of go underneath the Smith there, and as he was trying to go down, it looked like Kemper was coming up from the bottom, and they kind of hooked wheels a little bit.
So that'll put Schatzer into that 4th transfer spot as Kemper tries the battle back. Out front, it's going to be Bob DeGood. This time by, he'll take the white flag in heat race number 2. As that battle for 4th continues, Bob DeGood stretches out his lead over Joe Canellis. He will come out of turn 4 and take the checkered flag. And Bob DeGood will be heat race number 2 victor. Our finishing rundown for that heat race number 2 is going to be Bob DeGood, Joe Canellis, Andrew Smith, Kurt Schatzer, your 4 transferring. Kemper and Schwain will move on to our B main. Now it's time, John, for heat race number 3 presented by 22 Designs.
Yeah, and on the pole is going to be Joe Halter. Next to him will be Joseph Grandy. In that second row is going to be Isaac Salas and Pat Boyce. Starting in the third row will be Jeff Barker and Steven Bixler. And rounding out the field is going to be the Iron Man, Greg Boydell. And Travis, this track is coming in really nice, man. We're watching guys just run all over in these cars. Really good show that these guys are putting on, and I can't expect anything different going to happen in this heat race.
Good racing throughout the field. We continue to see great battles for the lead, great battles for that top 4 transfer spot, including that inside row number 2, Isaac Salas. We saw him run to a runner-up finish in the street stock A main. So it'll be fun to see what he can do in a 3:05 here. As the Stephen King Foundation pace truck will lead around Joe Halter and Joseph Grandy, who will bring us to green. So heat race number 3 presented by 2-1 Designs. The iRacing pace truck pulls to the infield. Joe Halter, Joseph Grandy round turn 4. And bring us to green in heat race number 3 here at Port Royal. Isaac Salas, gray start, jumps up into that second position. He'll stay down, get up as they come out of turn 2. Contact with the ball with some of the drivers, and they're side by side for second, third, fourth through 3 and 4.
Yeah, that was Steven Bixler that caught the wall coming out of 2. As you saw them fan apart, they're going through 3 and 4. Now they're going through 1 and 2. And the same thing, you got guys on the top, middle, and bottom.
You've got Salas and Grandy side by side for second. Boyce in that 41 Taco Bell machine was looking to make moves early on that start to the race as there's contact between Grandy and Salas.
Yeah, a little bit of contact, but they're able to go. And oh, Pat Boyce takes a hard look into the inside wall.
So that sets it. Joe Halter has pulled out to a lead over Isaac Salas. Third is Grandy. Fourth currently is Jeff Barker. It's Boydell in fifth trying to make that into that transfer spot. And they continue to battle side by side for that fourth and final transfer spot as Boydell will take it down the front stretch, but they'll stay.
Salas goes around. Our second place car went around there. I didn't see what happened. I'm going to go back and peek. Oh, it looks like he just kind of lost it on his own, and tough break for Isaac Salas.
We were watching, or I was watching him in practice. He was having a hard time through 1 and 2, where he ended up spinning on his own quite a few times over there during practice. So 2 laps to go this time by. The field stretched out with some contact and some wrecks throughout. As it's Halter, Grandy, Boydell, Barker, your top 4.
Yeah, Joe Holter's checked out a little bit here, but there's a little bit of contact in this heat race. That's kind of a lot of guys that kind of get strung out just a little bit here, and checkered flag here gonna fall for or white flag gonna fall for these guys. They got one more time to go here.
So they make their way down the backstretch one final time. They'll go through 3 and 4. Out of 4 is going to be Joe Halter with our heat number 3 victory. So the finish results for heat race number 3 is Joe Halter, Joseph Grandy, G.J. Boydell, and Jeff Barker, the top 4.
Yep. Now this time we will have a B main.
So our B main presented by Gambler Motorsports, we've got the starting lineup for our 9-car field.
Yeah, we got 9 cars, and all 9 will make it to the A. But starting on the pole for this is going to be Dean Reynolds. Next to him will be Jeff Kemper. Starting in the second row will be Steven Bixler, and next to him is going to be Jeff Flero. Starting third row will be Mark Swain and Isaac Salas. Starting in the fourth row will be Dean Meitzler and Andy Patton. And starting out back for this is going to be Pat Boyce. And like I said, though, everybody is going to transfer. So here's your chance to kind of move around and figure out what you're going to do. But more importantly, see how many cars you can pass, because the further up you start here, the further up you're going to start in that main event here in a little bit.
Salas and Boyce both had issues in that final heat race we just got done watching, so it'll be interesting to watch them move up through the field. And also, the Kemper machine was fast in his heat as well. He'll start on that outside front row, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do in this B main event as well.
Yeah, this will be kind of cool because the track is starting to slick up going into the corners. So, cutting that wheel going into the corners is going to be a little more difficult. That means they're going to have to be a little bit more steady getting into the corners here. So that might alter some of their lines that they may have ran in their heat races. And especially if you're like in that first heat, this track is completely different than what it was in that first heat.
So the Stephen King Foundation pace track dives in. Entrance to pit road is back there on the back stretch. So it's Kemper and Reynolds that will lead us through 3 and 4. And bring us to green in our Gambler Motorsports B main for the 305 sprints. Make their way down the long front stretch here at Port Royal. And we are green in our Gambler Motorsports B main. Reynolds, Kemper remain side by side. That inside line makes some moves up, as Bixler looks to make a move up towards the front, but up front it's Reynolds and Kemper battling for the lead.
Yeah, we've seen the bottom really be kind of the preferred lane so far, but I'll tell you, that top lane looks like it's starting to come in. That cushion's starting to give a bite, and you're starting to see that momentum play out as they go down the backstretch.
Great use of that momentum by Reynolds through 1 and 2. He'll try to use it in 3 and 4 as well, as he'll get into the wall down the front stretch, opens the door for Flero in that 200 machine.
Oh, and Flero and Kemper. Kemper kind of slid up a little bit, and Kemper and Flero kind of went down a little bit. And when two guys go for the same spot on the track, that's always a tough deal.
As expected, John, that contact that we saw in the street stocks earlier, not as forgiving with the sprint cars.
No, not at all.
So that stretches the field out as it's Reynolds up front. Isaac Salas is raced up from 6th. He's now running 2nd, as he is running as high as anybody through the corners and gaining on Reynolds for the lead.
Yeah, he sure is here, and it'll be interesting to see what will happen once he gets right up to him here, because he's running in his tire tracks. Well, if you're just going to follow somebody, you're going to finish there. So if I know Isaac, he's going to, yep, there he goes. I was about to say he's going to try something.
So he'll try the slide job through 4. 79 Reynolds battles back on the inside. Will jump back up in front of Salas as they are back to running 1-2. Reynolds with the lead down the backstretch.
Yeah, and Reynolds didn't even have to defend a crossover there. He's able to really get through turn 2 the last time around here, and Isaac now is going to have to come up with a different plan.
Back in his tire tracks, he's closed the gap back up on Reynolds, running nose to tail through 3 and 4. There'll be 2 laps to go this time by.
Yeah, and this is a scenario where if you're in Salas's shoes, you're in his seat. Oh, he gets into the wall a little bit, and as you can see, there's a price to pay when you do it with these cars. He just lost a lot of ground, but when you keep reeling up on a guy like that, you know you're faster than him, and then that's where the patience aspect really comes into driving, because when you know you're faster than that guy, you just comes to a point where you just want to get around him, and maybe you'll do something that's probably not the best course of action to try to do it, and you can either lose a spot or wreck yourself. But as they come out of turn 4, take the green flag, Reynolds is going to hang on with Salas finishing second. But yeah, when you're behind someone you know you're faster, it's tough to be patient.
So Salas will have to save it for the A main event as he's unable to get past Reynolds. Reynolds will pick up the B main victory as we have our final results for our Gambler Motorsports B main. Reynolds, Salas, Kemper, Boyce, your top 4 finishers as we head into Flatline Racing Body's intermission here for the 305s. When we get back to racing action, we will have our A main event as we've got Coolray Hometown Heroes Night going on. It's the 305 Sprints presented by A&J Custom Creations.
Yeah, we should have 20 cars take the grid for that, so it'll be a nice sized field. And the way these guys have been all over the track, it's going to be fun to watch. But these guys, their radars are going to have to be up. They're going to have really good awareness here, because when you've got guys low, middle, and high, depending on which lane you're in, you could either be the meat and the sandwich in the middle. You could have 2 guys to your outside if you're on the bottom. You could have 2 guys to your inside if you're up top. You better know where everybody is, because it's pretty easy to lose track of guys. And if you don't, that's how contact will happen. Guys will maybe change a lane or move a half a lane in a different direction, and next thing you know, there's a car there. So awareness is going to be, I think, one of the keys tonight.
Speaking of awareness and honing your driving craft, check out the Coast to Coast Racing School, where our league's top drivers have volunteered to help league drivers improve their driving skills free of charge. They will be offering help on various skills such as qualifying driving lines, driver awareness, which you mentioned, John, setup advice. Just go to c2crl.com to schedule a session today.
Yeah, and I tell you, we've had a lot of good guys come through that program, and I've heard lots of good things. So, I mean, I always hope whenever we do work with somebody, it does help some, and it's kind of cool. And those sessions are pretty fun to have. To be honest with you, it's kind of neat getting to know guys, and the more guys that you can sit and interact with in the league, it's better to know who you're racing and whatnot. But yeah, go out to the website, and all you got to do is just fill it on out. And you can even request what driver you might want, and we'll be happy to help.
I'm about a year deep into iRacing, John, and that's one of the things I've found to be really cool is how helpful guys will be to new drivers. I think when you start with iRacing, myself included, there's a lot of nerves about getting on the track for the first time, getting around other drivers, and the openness and the understanding between drivers is really cool to see, and it's helpful and should be known by people that want to get into it, where there's a lot of forgiveness shown to you once you're learning and really getting into iRacing.
Yeah, and what's funny is that's one of the things where iRacing translates, to the real world too. You see a lot of that in the real world, new guys coming in, and the guys that ask questions and stuff like that. Some guys will blow you off, but most everybody will help you out. And when you're asking questions, boy, I tell you, people, when you're new, you get a little more patience thrown your way.
So with that, John, we will go to our We Let the Dogs Out for You starting lineup for our main event.
Yeah, here we go. 20 strong. Starting on the pole is going to be the 23 of Chris Schaefer. Next to him will be Bob DeGood. Starting in the second row will be Mr. Joe Halter and Blake Chapman. Starting the third row will be Joe Canellis and Joseph Grandy. Starting in seventh place here tonight is going to be Brandon Dittmer. Next to him will be Andrew Smith. In ninth and 10th will be Greg Boydell and Brian Moore Sr. Moving into the second half of the field now, it will be Kurt Shasser in 11th, Jeff Barker 12th. Starting 13th will be Dean Reynolds, and next to him will be Isaac Salas. Starting next row will be Jeff Kemper and Pat Boyce. And they will be followed by Steven Bixler and Dean Meitzler. And starting out back tonight will be the one Jeff Flero and Mark Swain.
So that is our starting lineup presented by We Let the Dogs Out for you. As our A&J Custom Creations 305's main event is about to get started. We'll do one more lap behind the Stephen King Foundation pace truck, and it's going to be Chris Schaefer and Bob DeGood leading us to green here at Port Royal Speedway.
You know, Travis, you always ask me who I'm going to pick. So who do you like here? Who are you going to pick?
I'm going to go with Blake Chapman and really hope that that's not the kiss of death that you normally give. But I think Chapman obviously is really good in everything he races. But he'll be my pick tonight.
That's a pretty solid pick there. We'll see how he fares here tonight.
I feel like that was almost like picking a Jimmy Johnson in the early 2000s of picks.
Well, it was, but you had a legitimate pick.
So Schaefer and Bob DeGood lead us through 3 and 4 down the front stretch, and our 305 sprint main event is underway. They're side by side going into 1 and 2 as they get their speeds up, and the 20 of Blake Chapman moves up as there's going to be a wreck in turn 2.
Big wreck, Talladega style wreck. I see a couple guys end over end. Good Lord, I think that wiped out half the field.
So it's going to be right from the start with our Malcolm Mills mill writing instant replay. It looks like it's the 83 and the 518 that started that, and then that's the big one at Port Royal.
Yeah, you had the 83 coming up, probably expecting the 518 to kind of wash out a little bit, and it didn't happen there. And that goes back to what I said earlier, that awareness. You've got to know where guys are, and probably, at least on starts and restarts, you've really got to hold your line. You know, if you're in a lane, if you want to switch lanes, you probably should be doing it in the middle of the straightaway, at least for the first lap or two, or at least be sure. Not putting blame on either one of those guys, but that's what happens when you do that. It's just tough sledding to keep track of everybody because you're in such a big pack on the start of a race. And man, I tell you, that was a big one. Like I said, I think that wiped out pretty well almost half the field.
So we will get lined back up.
But one guy it didn't get was your pick. So see, I think you're already ahead of the game, ahead of me on this.
It's already going better than your pick would have been.
Yeah, my pick would have been in the middle of that, or on the hook and trailer, and on to the next race kind of deal.
So we will continue to follow Chapman. He's currently running 4th. As it's been an exciting night already here at Port Royal, John. We have more coming up. After this, we'll have the UMPs, and then we'll have our Dash for Cash close out the night here at Port Royal, as we've got 4 series of racing action here on Coolray Hometown Heroes, week number 2 of the Summer Series.
Absolutely. We're just almost halfway through the night here, and had a lot of good racing. Got a lot of good racing to go here, and I can't wait to see those other 2 races. But the Steve King pace truck has pulled off here. We got a handful of guys scrambling to get off pit road. Oh, this is going to be real interesting. You're going to see guys coming out of pit road as the leaders get to them.
And Schaefer will take us back to green. Great restart by him. It's Bob DeGood in 2nd. 3rd Halter, 4th Chapman as they continue to battle.
Yeah, and the caution came right back out. A couple of those guys, and this is they didn't do anything wrong, but it's going to be a deal where there's 2 green cones at the end of pit road. And I guess it didn't come out. I thought I saw him waving the yellow again.
Nope,
I stand corrected.
We're still green. And it's Schaefer out front. Bob DeGood continues. And a lot different of racing lines for this 305 sprint car race compared to our street stocks earlier in the night.
Yeah, that big wing is a big difference. It sticks you to the track, and it really brings in. You can run that bottom almost wide open, and keep your speed and momentum up. To be honest with you, as you saw Blake Chapman, he tried to work the bottom to get around Bob DeGood over in 3 and 4. And now he's go through 1 and 2. He's back up high, and wow, what a run Chapman gets out of turn 2.
And Joe Halter right behind him, trying to follow him up along the outside of Bob DeGood, as they'll remain side by side down the front stretch.
Yeah, and Chris Schaefer's got a bit of a lead built up here, so I think we'll see if the 20 can run him down here. And Schaefer's no slouch. He's quick in these things too, so I don't know that he's going to be that easy to run down.
So Chapman gets by Bob DeGood. Now it's Joe Halter working on the 7 machine. And Blake Chapman sets his sights on the 23 of Schaefer. Down the backstretch they go. We've got 19 laps to go, 18 laps to go this time by.
Yeah, and Schaefer's searching around lines, and man, that has really allowed Blake Chapman to close right up to him. Schaefer tried to mess around with the middle and the bottom, and yeah, that gap closed rapidly when he went down there.
Throughout the field, great battle back in the pack. You've got Dittmer, Kempmer, Boyce, and Salas all trying to move up. They're in that second half of the top 10. And up front, the leaders are starting to work through some lap traffic. But up front, it's Schaefer now with Chapman filling up his mirror down the backstretch, and will be right back to his rear as they come down the front stretch.
Yeah, and that Chapman goes to the bottom here. He's going to pull the slide job. Let's see if Schaefer's going to have that momentum down the backstretch. Pulls up next to him, and I think he'll be able to return the favor down here and pull another slide job, pull up in front of Chapman. He does as they come out of 4.
Chapman will cross him back over, take the lead at the line as the second caution of the night will come out. This one looks like it's for Joe Canellis. It looked like he just had trouble getting through 3 and 4 there.
Yeah, it looks like he caught that inside wall, and you know, we talk about running that bottom, you know, or same thing. It's treacherous not to hit the wall on the top. Same thing on the bottom. If that back end kind of comes around a little bit, it'll point that nose to that wall, and you'll catch that left front tire on that wall pretty easy. Kind of reminds me a little bit of when you run the bottom at Volusia. You got a lot of the same challenges here as you do there.
So that will actually put Schaefer back in front of Chapman for the restart, as they were swapping positions back and forth. John, with cautions like that, when what do they reset the fields back to on a caution?
To the previous lap.
Gotcha.
So,
okay, cool.
Yep, and then the we'll get a double file restart once we get going here, so that'll be kind of cool. Most of our other sprint, especially like on Monday, our sprint cars are single file. But I'm looking down here, and it does look like this one will be double file when they do go, which is good for us because that's going to put everybody side by side again.
Yes, it is, and I just realized that said they were getting up to some lap cars, but that Brian Moore machine has battled up all the way to 3rd. He's currently one of our hard chargers. He's up 7 positions to that 3rd position.
Yeah, he is, and you know, that big wreck at the beginning. I'm kind of wondering if he didn't get through that. But Brian's fast. I mean, it's very possible too that he drove up there to get to that spot. But we've had a lot of jumbling if you look at starting positions and where people are running due to that big wreck at the beginning. But here they are. The Steve King pace truck pulls off, and they're entering turn 3 side by side.
So it's gonna be Schaefer, Chapman side by side leading us back to green here at Port Royal Speedway. It's the 305 Sprints presented by A&J Custom Creations. Schaefer will jump out to the lead, move up to that high side in front of Chapman. On the inside, you've got Moore, Halter, and DeGood trying to make some gains on the leaders.
Yeah, the front 2 right now, though, do look like the class of field. We got an incident down the backstretch here. We got one on its side going down the backstretch.
So we'll take a look and see what we can see with our Malcolm Mills mill rating.
I think it's a 49 of Meitzler. No, yeah, between him and Flero. We've seen this happen. Two guys going for the same spot, same real estate, and with Jeff Flero, Dean Meitzler, then Jeff Barker got caught up and got the worst end of it. Got flipped up on the side there. Meitzler has a lot of that car is crabbing really bad too. I got to be interested to see here. He's going to take the green, and he's going to find that car, when he gets into turn one, is not going to do what he wants it to do.
So up front, it is still Schaefer and Chapman. They continue to battle for that lead. We saw Morgan, Halter, and DeGood trying to get up there. They round out our top 5. And then just outside the top 5, you got Brandon Dittmer. You know, he would live to get up there and race as well.
Yeah, and Dean Meitzler is coming down to the pits to get some work done on that car, maybe even get a fresh ride to come back out here with.
So a couple caution events, including a big one on the backstretch on lap number 1, is really shaking up this field, as we've got 14 laps to go in our A&J Custom Creations 305 main event here. It is Cool Ray Hometown Heroes, just like every other Tuesday night here at the Coast to Coast Racing League. Stephen King Foundation Pace Truck pulls into the infield. Single file restart this time. Schaefer brings the field through 3 and 4. They'll make their way down the long front stretch here at Port Royal. And the 305 sprints will be back in action. It's Schaefer out front, Chapman behind him. Moore, Halter move to the inside to make a move on Chapman for second. All following Schaefer down the backstretch.
Yeah, Moore had a good run into the corner, but boy, I tell you, look at Chapman on the outside. What a run he gets coming off of turn 4.
Chapman back up in his wheel marks as he will set his sights down the backstretch, get to the outside of Schaefer as they go into 3.
Yeah, he got up to his outside here. Schaefer's going to move back up here in front of him, able to run that bottom, then take that shorter line around 3 and 4. They go back into turn 1 here, and you got Schaefer in the middle. You got Chapman on the outside. He is going to have a big run going down the backstretch too.
He'll jump to the inside now. He'll take the low line in 3 and 4. He'll slide up to the high side across Schaefer's nose, and they'll be side by side down the front stretch.
And we'll get down here to 1 and 2, and it looks like Schaefer's going to return. And is he going to get up in front of him? No, he does not. Boy, and Chapman he's gone. All that momentum that Schaefer lost trying to slide up there just really killed his momentum.
That now sets Schaefer into the grips of Brian Moore Sr. as we've got 10 laps to go. Moore will make a move on Schaefer on the inside as Schaefer regroups to try to set his sights back on the leader of Chapman.
Oh, and Schaefer just nailed the wall in his, oh, wow.
So we saw it live. Let's watch it again with our Malcolm's Mills mill writing replay. And he actually got into the wall there at the end of that first wall, going into 4.
Yeah. Yeah, it upset the car, and then he took a big shot. Man, that's one, if you're in VR, you just kind of have to close your eyes at some point. That's a heck of a shot.
So now it's Chapman, Moore, Dittmer, Halter, your top 4. And it's too bad Schaefer had a great run going. Him and Chapman battled for a number of laps, made some contact on the backstretch, and Schaefer was still trying to get his rhythm back before that incident in turn 4.
Yeah, and now we got Chapman out front, though. It's going to be not Bob DeGood, but the 558 there of Brian Moore. They're in second here, so let's see if Brian has anything for Blake. The laps are winding down. We're within 10 to go here, so the pay window for these guys are open. So it's, if you're going to do something, you're going to have to do it here pretty quick.
I'm going to double down, John. I picked Blake to win,
I know.
and he is out front with 10 laps to go, so we will see how this finishes. It's the A&J Custom Creations 305 Sprints. It's our A main here for Coolray Hometown Heroes. Blake looking to start the summer series 2 for 2 with victories.
Yeah, he's had that 20 car on a rail, but he usually does. Like I said, he's a former Renegades champion, which is our premier division with what we deem our best of the best in these cars, and not a real big surprise to see him out front here. But he's got a couple of cats behind him that are every bit can give him a challenge, every bit as fast in some places on this track from what I've seen. What they got to be careful for is to go for that big move and it not work out, because as we saw it with Schaefer, he went to try to make that slide move, couldn't get it done, and that allowed Chapman to drive by him and put 4 or 5 car lengths between them.
So Chapman will lead us back to green, even though John took a shot at my pick during that description of what was about to happen here. Chapman extends his lead with Moore, Dittmer up to third, and Halter now in fourth. Great run by Jeff Kemper. He's up to fifth after starting 15th.
Yeah, not a dig, just trying to keep it interesting. But yeah, Chapman, he's going to be real tough to get around here, and he's already put 5-6 car lengths back on the field.
He stretches his lead over almost 7/10 over Moore. Moore's in second, Dittmer third, Halter still in fourth as Dittmer on back continue to battle. Lots of movement, lots of racing all over the track here at Port Royal for positions 5 through 10.
Yeah, great racing back in the pack from about fourth on through maybe about 8th or 9th there, side by side, and over here in 3 and 4, almost 3 wide coming out maybe.
See Isaac Salas there in the 5. He's up 6 spots. He ran our street stock division earlier. Good run for him to get up into the top 10, but with 5 to go, it's Blake Chapman down the backstretch. He'll come to 4 to go this time by, as he's now got a 2.5 lead over Moore, with really the top 5 all spread out.
Yeah, the first few are spread out, and the real battle is back there. What looks like with Flaro, big move here for him to make a slide job, but yeah, Flaro and Halter looks like to be about the best position battle on the track.
Schatzer gets up in their battle as well, as now he's along the inside of Halter. 3 laps to go this time by. And there's contact between Schatzer and the caution will come out. We'll bring up our Malcolm Mills mill writing. Looks like a wreck including Flaro there on the backstretch.
Yeah, that's a tough break for Jeff there. I know he was having a good run.
It looked like the Schatzer machine just kept coming up higher and higher as Flaro was looking to make a move there.
Yeah, and that's where that awareness comes in. I'm sure that Kurt kind of maybe thought he was clear there and was coming up, and Flaro was there and nowhere to go and pinched him into the wall a little bit. And like I said, it's real easy to do when you, especially those guys are battling so hard. It's tough to lose track of where guys are, but you've got to know where they're at if you're going to switch lanes like that. But tough break for Jeff. I'm sure he'll regroup and battle on here and come back next week and probably even challenge for a win.
Does your VR, John, help with that, with blind spots and seeing what's going on around the car?
Yes and no. Visually, no, but I get a better feel for what's going on. I get that submersion. So I kind of get a better feel where when I go in, I can gauge, how hard did I go in? Am I going to have room to clear this guy? Based on what I've seen him do before. So it can, and I've slid up and pinched guys. I think everybody out here probably has at one point in time or another. Just thought they were clear and moved up. And the thing is, we're in the real world. As you're sliding up, if there's a guy out there, you hear them, and you can kind of keep from running into them most of the time, unless you bonsai it. Here, sometimes you hear them, sometimes you don't. And, and you can't go up and very well feel, oh, there's somebody there because with the net code and everything else, it just doesn't work out here. Um, but I do think VR does give me a little better perspective of where guys are. Long answer, but
Gotcha. No, that makes sense. So the Pace Truck dives in, presented by Stephen King Foundation. We now enter our Mission 22 restart. It's Blake Chapman over Moore and Dittmer. Back to green. It's going to be a green-white checkered here. Chapman jumps out to a lead over Moore. They're battling for third as now it's Schatzer up alongside Dittmer going through two. And white flag is out for Blake Chapman.
real battle. Looks. Oh, we got a big wreck down the front straightaway, and it's Schaefer again. Well, we go back to that because that battle for third is heating up, and same thing for fifth too. We're gonna have a great battle for those positions.
So it's Blake Chapman going to win our 305 sprint A main. Saw there Schatzer able to move up to fourth. Dittmer, a great run for him. He'll be our top three. Top three, which we will interview next, will be Blake Chapman, Brian Moore Sr., Brandon Dittmer. Looking through the field, our Chip Banger Racing hard charger is going to be Jeffrey Kemper, finishes 6th after starting 15th. Great run for him. And then someone that wrecked there, John Dean Meitzler, he'll end up with a top 10 finish. He's able to rebound for a 10th place finish. So there's the 20 machine of Blake Chapman. My pick, John, in victory lane here at Port Royal Speedway.
Absolutely, well done. But to you, now I'm not going to bag on the guy that you picked, but I'm going to bag on you a little bit. Even you said, yeah, that's like picking Jimmy Johnson in the mid 2000s. So, but hey, nonetheless, he had to get the job done. Anything can happen in these races, so very cool.
So
and most importantly, he didn't wreck or get wrecked or have something funky happen to him.
Exactly. That I will say it is a little more nerve-wracking when you have some skin in the game that you don't want them to get jinxed by you.
Yes.
So it looks like we have a couple of our top 3 finishers. John, we'll start with you. You have our 3rd place finisher of Brandon Dittmer.
Yeah, Brandon, this is John up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Hey, Brandon. Well, I tell you, fun race. You guys were all over that track. It looked like you had options the whole 9 yards. Talk to me about your race, man.
Yeah, I got started out that race involved in that big wreck. I don't know if we both switched lanes halfway through the turn or what, but I was definitely not expecting him that low. I'll take blame on that one, but
Yeah, we watched the replay, and if it makes you feel better, it was a case of 2 guys going for the same spot. It happened a little bit later, but not with quite as big consequences there. So the racing deal there. So if you're wondering or feeling bad about it, that was a racing deal.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just glad I was able to rebound. Unfortunately, they did take out a lot of the field, so they did put me back up to 7th or 8th at the start, which I mean, I feel bad for everybody else, but at the end of the day, it happens.
Absolutely. Well, from then on, once you got back to going there after that big incident, how did you find passing? What lane did you prefer to be in, and where did your car work the best?
Definitely top side. It worked the best. Passing, just threw a big slider a couple times, got it to stick, and tried to fend him off from throwing a slider back. But just working around that top side was all I could really do.
Well, I'll tell you this, man. A good recovery, anytime that you can get into a big wreck like that and come back and end up on the podium, man, you got to almost chalk that up as a win. Good points race. Are you going to be running for the points here in this series?
I am not quite sure. I did miss last week, but
There are drops.
There are drops. Yes, there is. We'll see going forward.
Well, I tell you, nice run, nice recovery. If you do run for points, it's a good points night. Are you going to run the UMPs here in a little bit?
I do not believe so.
All right. Well, then hopefully we see you next week. And anybody you'd like to give a shout out to here?
Coast to Coast for setting this whole thing up. You guys for the broadcast. Warrior Raps for the paint scheme. They do great jobs. I think that's it.
Yeah, well, hey, congratulations again on a top three. Nice job here, and hopefully we'll see you soon, and definitely next week, man. That is our third place finisher, Brandon Dittmer.
Now joining us, John, we've got our second place finisher, Brian Moore Sr. Brian, it's Travis up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
So moving up, you started 10th, you end up second. Could you kind of walk us through your eventful A main here tonight at Port Royal?
Yeah, it's a pretty wild start. Seemed like a bunch of guys got together on the bottom there, and I was lucky to squeeze by on the top. I think I did hit somebody, and it said that I had damage to my car, but at that point I was up to sixth, and I thought, man, there's no way I'm pulling to the pits. So I just kind of hung with it, and it didn't seem to hurt the car very much, and it was fine. So yeah, good run there. A couple of guys in front of me is getting together and give me a chance to get by them. So I was happy with the second.
Well, it was a great run up to second for you. With Port Royal being newer to iRacing, have you had a lot of seat time here at Port Royal prior to tonight?
Not actually, not in the 305. Now I have ran some 410s and 360s here, but the 305 is a lot different because it's all about momentum, and you got to keep your momentum up. And so this is only my second 305 race here. Last week I did terrible.
Yeah,
But yeah,
looking at rebounding from last week, are you planning on running the full season for the 305s this year?
yeah, I probably will. I like the 305s. They're fun to run and good close racing.
Well, it was a great run, Brian. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to as we close out our top three for the 305s?
Yeah, just my brother Rick and Rona and the guys at CSR.
Well, great run, Brian.
SRC. I'm sorry, I got it down backwards, but and you guys for putting this stuff on. It's a great show you guys put on. I appreciate it.
Well, awesome. Thank you, Brian. We appreciate that, and a great run for you tonight. I'll now throw it over to my partner who's got our winner, Blake Chapman.
Hey, Blake, this is John up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yep, I got you.
Well, 2 for 2. Uh, you and Schaefer had a heck of a battle, though. This one didn't come easy. Some slide jobs back and forth. Tell me, how did this track handle those? It looked like it was a pretty fine line between throwing them and then keeping your momentum up, or getting up in the corner and having to kind of bail a little bit to lose that momentum to keep it off the wall.
Yeah, it was pretty difficult out there, John. I think the top was the fastest way around, but those slide jumps, it seems like I got through the corner really fast. It was just once I hit that top and tried to drive it off, I lost a ton of speed. But Chris, that was a lot of fun racing with him. He kept me guessing, running multiple different lines, and I just had a lot of fun. He was really fast tonight, but once I got out to the lead, didn't want to see that caution at the end, but was still able to hold on for the win.
Well, I tell you, we had that a couple of cautions there. What was going through your mind on where to set up? I mean, most of the slide jobs that I saw that were it looked like you could complete them both on both ends of the corner, both ends of the track. Was there one end that was probably better than the other as far as like keeping your momentum up and being able to, maybe block against that crossover?
Yeah, I'd say 3 and 4 is probably the better slider corner, but you got to be really close to the guy to throw that in. And I mean, 1 and 2, it seems like I got through the corner better, but 3 and 4, I got off of it just a little bit better. It seems like the track was different than it was last week, so hopefully it just keeps getting better and better.
Absolutely. Well, hey man, are you going to run the UMPs here a little bit?
I don't believe so.
It's disappointing, but hey, good to see you here tonight, and I'm sure we'll see you before too long and talk to you again. But who would you like to give a shout out to for your window here tonight?
Oh yeah, of course, parents, grandparents, everybody watching and supporting. You got to thank Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. Head over there to their website. Use code CART, that's CART at checkout for 15% off some of their delicious popcorn. Heard that Dean Reynolds might be headed over there soon. I gotta thank Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps for making all my cars look good. I gotta thank you guys for putting on this broadcast every week.
Well, thank you very much, Blake, and good luck, and hopefully we talk to you again soon. That is Blake Chapman, tonight's 305 feature winner.
Thanks, John.
And with that, John, our 305 sprint car racing comes to a close tonight. It's Coolray Hometown Heroes. We're going to take an intermission break here. When we come back, we will have our UMPs presented by Flatline Racing Bodies for part number 3 of 4 tonight for our Coolray Hometown Heroes. We appreciate you tuning in and watching, and we will see you back here at Port Royal shortly.
In our industry. The lifetime parts and labor warranty is pretty awesome. Basically, all the parts are covered, the labor and everything. When we say lifetime, we mean lifetime, and it's supported with money back guarantees. And with that, you're getting all qualified technicians that are going to ensure that this job is done perfectly and operates perfectly throughout the life of the unit.
Learn more about our Coolray lifetime parts and labor warranty at Coolray.com. Coolray and Carrier. Turn to the experts.
in our industry. The lifetime parts and labor warranty is pretty awesome. Basically, all the parts are covered, the labor and everything.
When we say lifetime, we mean lifetime, and it's supported with money-back guarantees. And with that, you're getting all qualified technicians that are going to ensure that this job is done perfectly and operates perfectly throughout the life of the unit.
Learn more about our Coolray lifetime parts and labor warranty at Coolray.com. Coolray and Carrier. Turn to the experts.
Welcome back to Port Royal Speedway as we watch my broadcasting partner John Hine in the Coast to Coast Racing Extreme E-Speed UMP Modified. John, what's it like out there at Port Royal?
You know, this car is a handful getting around here. Makes me miss I-55. You know, getting through here, you've really got to feather the throttle, and iRacing needs to take a look at the gearing in this car because, man, I am on the chip pretty early getting into the corner, but pretty cool layout, and this is going to be quite the challenge for guys.
So Coolray Hometown Heroes continues with our UMP Modifieds presented by Flatline Racing Bodies. It's part 3 of our action tonight. As we continue, we've had street stocks, we've had the 305s, and now John Hines out there on the track in the UMP Modified, which is coming up next.
Yeah, there's kind of a little bit of a smaller field here tonight, and I don't know if that's because of maybe a difficulty level or what, but wow.
Well, and that will switch us into AR Setup Shop qualifying session. As Zach Chapman's out on the track currently.
Yeah, but I will say this, that paint that is on that car, every time we do run it and it gets a little TV time, we do got to thank Nick over at VMR Wraps who put that paint together. He's also done one for us for the 305, and I didn't get it out on the track tonight, but very cool. You can go out to Facebook, find them. They get you set up with something like that, but very, very cool wrap that's on that car.
That was our Coast to Coast Racing Extreme E Speed wrap and UMP Modified. Zach Chapman, great first lap there. He'll shoot to the top of the charts over Templeton, DeGood, and Kemper. And as you mentioned, John, it's looking like 10 cars. So we'll have a couple heat races and then probably go right into our A-main event for the UMP Modifieds presented by Flatline Racing Bodies.
Yeah, and even though it's a small field, I'm looking at the names in here with Vickery, Templeton, Chapman, Spees, obviously Tater Williams, somebody that you're familiar with. You've got a lot of guys in here that can wheel race cars, man, and this should be a lot of fun. But that was the first laps I've taken in the UMP here, and I am going to tell you, this is even I know that there's more speed involved probably with that 305, but as far as on a difficulty level, these cars were a lot more of a handful to get around here than even the 305s.
You mentioned Tater Williams. He won last week in week number 1 of the UMP series. Looking at our standings presented by A&J Custom Creations, it's Tater Williams, Zach Chapman, Jeffrey Barker, Nicholas Vickery, and Blake Chapman, your top 5. We mentioned Tater Williams won last year. The rest of those guys picked up top 10s to get their UMP modified seasons underway.
Yeah, last season, I-55 was just, I think, custom made for these cars. It was just they went together like peanut butter and jelly. I mean, just a great place to be racing these cars. They put on a good show. I even got out there and ran with them a couple times. It was just so much fun. I do miss a little bit, but these cars with long straightaways like this, and the amount of speed that they call this place the Speed Palace. The amount of speed that you're carrying into these corners with these cars with these very narrow tires. If you look closely at those UMP tires, they're not like late model tires, and they're not like wing sprint car tires where you got a big Hoosier to kind of catch you into those corners. You've got these skinny Hoosiers that don't give you a whole lot of grip going into the corner.
So with that said, it's going to be Tater Williams at the top of the charts for the time trials presented by ABR Setup Shop. And with that, we'll go into heat race number 1 in the starting lineup.
Yeah, on the pole is going to be Bob DeGood. Next to him is going to be the double nickel, the 55 of Mr. Steven Spies. Inside the next row, oh my gosh, I'm now looking at this whole lineup. Nick Vickery is in the inside of the row. Tater's to the outside. Tater Williams to the outside. Jeff Barker is going to round out the top 5 here. So basically, you got 5 guys here with Bob DeGood on the pole, and I don't see Bob out there.
He is coming in now.
Oh,
he's coming off a 2 there.
He had an EOL penalty, so he's in the back. So you got 5 guys here that can win this feature tonight. That's how stacked this field is.
Of course, Tater Williams won last year. For me, John, I'm point position on the Cool Ray Pro Late Model Dirt Series, also on Extreme eSpeed TV. The top 4 drivers here, the top 3 drivers, regulars along with you in that series. Tater Williams actually the defending champion of that series, and he'll look to pick up back-to-back victories. But Vickery up front and Spies up front will be hard to get by as well.
Yeah, and like I said, being out on that track a second ago in these cars into the corners from corner entry all the way into you're back on the straightaway, they're on the edge, and even towards the end of the straightaway, you've got to be throttle control and just have surgeon hands on the wheels, basically.
So heat race number 1 presented by Langston Mechanical about to get underway. They will make their way through 3 and 4. It's going to be Spies and Vickery, that front row, taking us to green in heat race number 1. And we are under green. It's Vickery shooting out front there. He'll slide up in front of Spies as they make their way through 1 and 2. And Tater Williams jumps into 3rd quickly, right on the tail of Spies.
Yeah, and I don't know where your dad's at. I don't know if he's watching or not, but right now you got 3 cars with Cool Ray on their car, 1, 2, 3. You know he's got to be smiling.
And they are battling through 1 and 2, 3 wide as they come off the corner. It's going to be Vickery down the backstretch. Tater Williams continues to look for a way past Spies.
Yeah, and we're seeing these guys in different lanes, and it looks like Tater is using kind of almost a diamond line where he's sliding up and then driving back down coming out of the corner. At least he did over in 3 and 4. He stays to the bottom, though, in 1 and 2. Just throwing everything he can at Spies here to try to get around him.
So Vickery continues to lead. Great momentum by Tater through 3 and 4. They're nose to tail down the front stretch, the 3 of them. Vickery, Spies, and Tater Williams battling in this heat race number 1.
Yeah, and the knife's edge I was talking about, when you get into the corner here, if you use too much throttle, the car wants to come around. At least that's how it felt for me in practice. And so you're trying to manage that, not letting the car come around. But, oh, by the way, keep your momentum and your speed up and have that thing pointed as straight as possible coming out of the corner. You are really busy in these corners in these cars.
So it's Nicholas Vickery coming out of 4 as Tater Williams and Spees battle behind him. It's the white flag in heat race number 1, the 00 of Vickery with a good lead over Spees as they head down the backstretch.
Nick's just got a couple more corners to get through here, and he's going to take home the first heat race of the night, and that looks like to be the case here.
So heat race number 1 presented by Langston Mechanical will come to an end. As they finish up heat race number 1, we'll look at those final results. It's Nicholas Vickery, Steven Spees, Tater Williams, Jeffrey Barker, and Bob DeGood as heat race number 2 gets lined up.
Yeah, and here we go for heat number 2. We have Jeff Kemper on the front row. Starting on the pole next to him will be Connor Ross, and then the second row will be Zach Chapman and Brandon Templeton. And I don't see Connor out there. Looks like he could be having an issue also tonight. So that's going to move Templeton up to the front row. And again, you've got guys in here that are going to be tough to beat. So, I mean, like I said, the car count not that high, but I expect this feature to be quite exciting with the level of talent we got in here.
So heat race number 2 presented by Magnum Race Design. Magnum Race Design offers iRacing wraps, hero cards, logos, flyers, and even t-shirt designs. You can visit the C2CRL.com website to find out more about all our sponsors of the series, including the Stephen King Foundation Pace Car, which will go around one more time, dives into the infield there on the backstretch, and then our 3-car field here in heat race number 2 will get to action.
Absolutely. And speaking of Steve King, I believe our charity event this season, I think, is going to be going to the Steve King Foundation. I do believe we're going to run the Knoxville Nationals as our charity event a little later this season. And that will be open to anybody that can hear the sound of my voice right now, as long as you have an iRacing account and you're good standing with the league. So be looking out for information on that and come out and join us.
So they will make their way through turns 3 and 4. It's Jeffrey Kemper, Brandon Templeton, and Zach Chapman. Setting our A-Main UMP modified feature event. They make their way down the front stretch. And heat race number 2 is underway at Port Royale. It's going to be Templeton on the outside. Zach Chapman follows him through as we will have a 3-car battle here in heat race number 2.
And boy, you see Templeton kind of just dancing all over with the back of that car going down that backstretch there. He gets through 3 and 4 pretty nice, and got to check up a little bit, it looked like. He's got to allow Kemper to take the lead in the lead lap 1.
So Kemper battles on that inside line. Templeton's going to be able to get by him going into 3 and 4. Zach Chapman running that high line as well. He'll try to get up alongside Kemper down the front stretch, and it's going to be Templeton leading with 4 laps to go.
And Zach's got that mystery machine wound up. He's going to try to run Templeton down here for the next couple of laps here. If he gets there, though, you know, we saw Tater do this. He moved around trying to find places around to get around Steven Spees in that first heat. He's going to have to try the same here, and he's got a little bit of distance between him and that third place machine of Jeff Kemper at this point. So he's going to have the luxury of being able to try something without losing a spot.
So he continues to make a move on Templeton. Great turn 4 for the 72 machine of Chapman. He's got position on the inside as they go through 1 and 2. He'll slide across the nose of 31, and they'll be side by side coming out of 2.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to make that stick. I don't know that Templeton's going to be able to come back and throw a slider on him. He is not, as Zach's going to take advantage and lead the way now.
So the 72 of Chapman will lead with 1 lap to go around Port Royal Speedway. Kemper's fallen back to 3rd, so it will be Zach Chapman coming through turns 3 and 4 and picking up tonight's heat race number 2 UMP victory. And he will have his sights set on our main event.
That's going to put him outside front row for the start of the feature. So he's going to be in a good spot to capitalize, try to capitalize and make up some ground on Tater, who won last week's race.
So they will get lined up for their A main feature event after a short flat line racing bodies intermission warm-up time.
Yeah, and this track is not going to be too worn, so these guys got to get in here and, I don't know what I would be doing. I don't know if I'd be trying to test my car out or trying to roll in a line that I want to run. If you're up top, you're going to, a lot of times you might want to push that line up to closer to the wall, so if you're really good at running the cushion, that'll give you an advantage, because believe it or not, the closer to the wall it gets, the faster you might get. But in the same token, maybe knock some of that slime and stuff that's, that the field anyway, that's on the bottom. Get down there and run that bottom in so you have options to pass in the feature. So, I think I'd be on the bottom trying to run that. Even though I wouldn't be very far up on the totem pole there as far as speed-wise, I'd be trying really hard to make that bottom line, just get some laps in it.
Looks like a lot of our fast cars are running up there right against the wall.
Yep.
This feels a lot more like that street stock division we had to start off the night than the 305s, which were working all over the speedway.
Yep, and like I said, those the width of these tires on these cars are not that wide. Even the street stocks have a little wider tires. So, you're not going to have the cornering power that you do in some of these other cars. So, going to be a finer line. But like I said, they're running the top, and you want to do that so you can get your timing down. But like I said, I think I would be on the bottom, so at least there could be some good in that on the bottom maybe to be able to conduct passes.
So we ride around a lot of fast cars that we saw. That heat race number 1 was stacked with Spies, Templeton, Vickery, Tater Williams. Tater Williams has yet to make any warm-up laps in this session.
He's just that confident. I remember, I don't know if you ever heard the story of when Mark Martin and Dale Earnhardt were in a tight battle for the points, and they both went to Atlanta to test, and Dale went out and ran a couple laps and came into the pits and noticed that Mark and his team were thrashing on their car, and he went over to Richard Childress and said, "Hey, let's just load up and get out of here," just to make him think, "Nope, we're good. We've got everything we need. We're out of here." And he did it. And even Mark, I think I saw a few years after that, admitted, "Yeah, that got into my head."
I've heard a couple stories lately about the old NASCAR happy hour sessions and the Thursday Friday test sessions and the gamemanship that used to happen with that. The one I heard recently was the one between Jeff Gordon and Dale trying to top each other at Michigan, and then it ended up with Jeff taking them both out because he was trying to press too hard going through the corner.
Yeah, and you've got most of those cars wouldn't have passed tech either, and those things trying to get up on that board just to throw haymakers at each other to get in each other's head. But yeah, those are good old days. But hey, speaking of good old days, though, then you know what? We've got a good race here. So, and I think we're gonna still, like I said, not a high car count, I know, but I do think we're gonna see some really fantastic racing here.
With that being said, they're gridding out on the front stretch. John, you've got our starting lineup for tonight's UMP Modifieds.
Yes, on the pole is going to be Stickers. It's going to be Nick Vickery there. Outside of him is going to be the 72, and the Mystery Machine is going to be Zach Chapman. Starting in the inside second row is going to be the 55 of Steven Spies, and to his outside will be the 31 of Brandon Templeton. Starting in the third row is last week's winner, the 182 of Tater Williams. Out to his outside is going to be the 181 of Jeffrey Kemper. Starting behind them is going to be Jeff Barker and Bob DeGood, I believe. I know Connor Ross is on that list, but I don't see Connor out. I don't think he's come back. So that is going to round out your field here tonight.
And tonight's starting lineup for our feature was presented by We Let the Dogs Out For You. We Let the Dogs Out For You Pet Care Services. So the Steve King Foundation pace cars back out in front of the field to get us started here in our UMP Modifieds presented by Flatline Racing Bodies. Our A main event. With that being said, we have our Dash for Cash presented by Gambler Motorsports. That will be our final portion of tonight's Cool Ray Hometown Heroes. So stay tuned for that as the iRacing pace car dives in. And it's going to be Nicholas Vickery, Zach Chapman leading us to green at Port Royal.
Yeah, it's going to be real interesting when they get down to turns 1 and 2, what lanes guys choose and where they end up as they come out of 2. Remember, we saw trouble. A guy's up on the top, a guy's on the bottom trying to meet in the middle, but we'll see if that happens here. But here we go, Travis. They're on the front stretch getting ready to take the green.
So Vickery and Chapman bring us down. The flagman waves the green flag, and we are green for the UMP Modifieds. Vickery down on that inside line. He'll shoot to the top of the track in front of Chapman. Chapman will cross him over, try to make a move to his inside going into 3.
Yeah, and you got Steven Spees right there trying to diamond that corner. Gets to the inside of Vickery down the front stretch, and he's got to go for 2 for 1. He can almost slide up here. He's not going to be able to, though.
He'll slide up in front of Vickery. That puts Tater Williams in good position to move up to 3rd. Now Templeton sees blood and moves to the inside of Vickery as well.
Some big haymakers being thrown here early in lap 1. Vickery is gone. He got a little bit of contact with Spees coming out of turn 2 the last lap. Cost him a little bit. He's trying to recover. Got to hold off Templeton for now for 4th as both Templeton and Kemper get into the wall. But you got a battle between teammates up there for first place with Zach and then Steven here for the battle for the lead.
So Templeton's now back to 5th as it's Chapman up front, Spees right behind him. Teammates run at the front of the field. Tater Williams in 3rd looks to get up there and race with them for the lead as well.
Yeah, now he's right there, and what's going to be tough now is Steven is going to have to try to take the lead while defend against getting passed by Tater here. If Steven tries to make a move and it's not successful, he's going to lose 2nd to Tater.
So he gets to the
Zach's
inside.
in the wall.
And that opens the door for Spees to get to the inside. Tater Williams gets in the back of Chapman. They hit again through 4 as they're side by side at the start-finish line as Spees pulls away with the lead.
Yeah, Zach got into the wall a little bit and upset his car going into 3 there. Tater got into the back of him, but they got it worked out. They're able to maintain their positions, and that's going to bring Nick Vickery, though, back in here. Make this a 4-car battle for the win.
While they battled for 2nd, it opened the door for Vickery and Templeton to get up there as now the top 5 pulls away from the rest of the field, all chasing Spees, but all looking to make a move with 24 laps to go.
Yeah, and there's they all look pretty evenly matched right now. You see that Tater tried to take a look to the inside of Zach, and there he goes to the bottom.
He'll slide through the corner, keep it low. He won't have the momentum there as Chapman's able to keep the position. Vickery watching from 4th.
And the problem that Tater's got is he wants to slide Chapman, but the problem is you got that 55 right in front of Chapman, so he's got nowhere to go. But we're going to see Chapman try to slide Spees here, going to the corner. Spees is going to cross him on over.
And Tater Williams make it 3 wide.
Yeah, that really messed Spees up there, having Tater right there. He couldn't use all the track. And Tater hits the wall, and Vickery shoots from 4th to 2nd on that exchange. Great racing here at the front.
And it's going to be Chapman with the short end of the stick. He'll fall back to 5th, try to get back up to this group of 4th. Up front now it's Spees, Vickery. Tater Williams will hold court in 3rd.
Yeah, swapping spots, and then now here you go. Vickery's going to try to throw the slider on Spees. Spees is into the wall here, but he's able to keep it going.
And when Vickery made the move, that opened the door for Tater Williams to get to their inside, really trying to make it stick. Won't be able to make it happen. He'll jump back up in front of Templeton behind Vickery. Spees gets into the wall.
Yeah, that's going to open the door. Vickery's going to, oh, we got a caution.
So our first caution of the night, it looks like it's going to be the 72 of Chapman. Our Malcolm Mills mill rating replay.
He just gets into the wall and gets it pretty sideways, and it throws the caution here. He did the smart thing and pulled down to get out of guy's way, so he didn't get any real damage here, and now he's going to try to get that car turned around.
So our first caution of the night will have a Mission 22 restart.
You know, it looks like Zach knocked the back end out of that car. It is slightly crabbing. So he's probably did the smart thing here, coming in here now to go and get a fast repair. And he's got some time. We've got over half the race to go here, so he's got plenty of time to recover and get back up here and challenge. But how about that battle between the top 5 here? I mean, you know, like I said, not many cars, but the guys that you have here are going to go for it.
Real competitive field. You can see Tater Williams still running third. He kept looking, and when that second place car would make a move, he would see that as an opening for him to make a move as well, which in turn has shuffled up the field a couple times between that top 5 here early, the first 11 laps of this race.
Yeah, he even had the lead for like a brief moment over in turn 4, and kind of jumped the cushion a little bit and broke his momentum, and that's what led to one of the big shuffles. But we are going to be double file here, side by side, so when these guys go in, we're going to see it again. The guys are going to have to choose lines and be all over the place here.
That's gonna put Vickery and Templeton there on the outside of Spees and Tater Williams.
But Spees does control the start, so he does have an advantage of 1 to fire, which should give him enough an advantage to either, if he wants, pull up and take the line from Nick, or stay in the line that he's in. So, you know, we'll see what Steven does here. But, boy, being that leader and being able to dictate that start and choosing where you fire is a huge advantage.
Zach Chapman will restart 8th with his repaired machine. So it's Spees and Vickery coming out of 4. Spees takes us to green with our Mission 22 restart.
And Nick got a great start. Did not allow Steven to jump up there. And that's going to give Nick the lead. And can Steven, he does. He gets up in front of Tater. And look at Templeton on the bottom.
Tater Williams gets to the back of him off of 4.
Yeah, slid up just a little too far. Now that's going to bring Jeff Kemper into the mix.
Up front, it's Vickery, then Spees as we watch the battle for 3rd through 7th. As Tater Williams rebounds, regains his momentum, he's now moving in on Spees for 2nd.
Spees looks like he's going to have that momentum coming off the corner, and that's just got to be frustrating for Tater because, you know, I think I said this earlier when we were referring to Isaac Salas about, you know you're a little bit faster than the guy in front of you, but you just can't complete the pass because the track's just not there for you. But, oh, Tater's got it this time. But here comes Steven on the inside on the crossover.
So they're side by side while that all happens. Chapman's raced his way up to 5th now. Crossover by Tater Williams on Spees. And it's going to be Tater Williams at the line this time by for 2nd.
Yeah, and Steven isn't going to have anything to retaliate with here. He scrubbed a lot of speed there, so that puts Nick out front. Now we're going to see if Tater can run down Nick here and see if Steven can mount another challenge on Tater.
So we've got Vickery, Williams, Spees, Templeton, and Chapman, your top 5. Chapman trying to rebound after some issues in turns 1 and 2. He's up 3 spots since this restart. And it's Vickery out front. But Tater Williams is trying to close in on him as much and as fast as possible as we've got 12 laps to go this time by.
Yeah, and Steven is closing back up on Tater too, so yeah, this is anybody's race. And Steven's got Templeton in tow right behind him too, so you had a little separation, but looks like everybody's running everybody back down. Tater into the wall, and that's going to bring Steven right up to his gearbox.
So 10 laps to go this time by in our UMP Modified A main event. It's Nicholas Vickery out front. Williams, Spees, and Templeton, the top 4, pulled away from the rest of the field here. And Williams has made up some gains as he's now 4/10 behind Vickery for the lead.
Yeah, and we saw it in the street stocks, 3 and 4 guys bouncing off the wall. These guys are all having a hard time keeping the cars off the wall over in 1 and 2. I mean, they're not hitting it quite as often as what the street stocks were, but they are getting into it a little bit. But now Tater has closed right up to the 0-0 of Nick Vickery.
So the top 2 battle for the lead position. 3 and 4 continue to battle between Spies and Templeton as Tater makes a slide job on Vickery in 1 and 2. Vickery will battle back down the backstretch down the inside, and they'll go into 3 and 4.
Yeah, Nick's going to be able to do the slide job down here, but now Tater's expecting it and just times that perfect, and there he's gone, and there's not anything Nick can do here. Nick's not going to be able to come back and fight back on that. He's just now going to have to try to get back and run back at him.
So the field is spread out now throughout the field. It's Tater Williams up 4 spots to first. Vickery now trying to chase him back down. Spies in third, Templeton in fourth, as we've got 6 laps to go here at Port Royal.
Yeah, and Spies and Templeton continue to try to knock down that wall in turn 1 and 2, and they're not getting an advantage. I can see them clearly slowing down when they get into the wall, so it's causing a problem for them, but just treacherous going there. Everybody's at the top there over in 1 and 2, and man, it looks like it's tough sledding over there.
So as Williams keeps his lead over Vickery, Spies is still fending off Templeton for third. 4 laps to go now at Port Royal as it's Tater Williams looking for back-to-back victories to start the summer season for the UMP Modifieds.
Yeah, it's just got a handful of laps here to go at this point now. It's just make sure you're not making any mistakes, and you can almost go into being a little bit conservative mode with the lead that he's got to make sure you don't. We've seen some guys get into that wall. We saw Zach Chapman get into that wall, and it ended up kind of spinning him a little bit. So you don't want that to happen. Don't want that to happen to you here just with a couple laps to go.
So 2 laps to go. Tater Williams will take the white flag as he is also currently our Chip Bangers Racing hard charger. 1 more lap around Port Royal Speedway for the UMP Modifieds. He gets into the wall in 1, which will close the gap slightly for Vickery. And 2 more corners for Tater Williams, and he will claim victory at Port Royal for the UMP Modifieds presented by Flatline Racing Bodies.
Yeah, and that's going to make him 2 for 2 on the season. Nick and Steven hold toe there in second and third, so nice runs for those guys too. But these guys are going to have to figure out how to get to Tater and beat him.
So they will make their way to victory lane here in the infield. We, as always, will have our podium finishers talk to us here. And as mentioned, our Chip Bangers Hard Charger Award goes to Tater Williams, up 4 spots, started 5th. He will end P1 as he stops on the scales over in turn 3. Given the clear, and he will make his way to victory lane. So the Speed Palace does not disappoint for the UMP Modified Series presented by Flatline Racing Bodies, as we will wait for our top 3 drivers to join us. And John, I think you'll get us started with our third place finisher of Steven Spies.
Yeah, Steven, this is John up in the booth. You got a copy?
Gotcha, Jim.
Well, not a high car count, but good Lord, did you guys put on a heck of a battle out there. Talk to me a little bit about the difficulty of running this track in that car. I was out there during practice with you guys and found that car track combo to be quite challenging.
Yeah, it can be. What I always say, it only takes two cars to make a race. So I think that first half of that race was really a lot of fun, close racing, back and forth, everything I think you can ask for. And then we kind of had that caution and settled it down a little bit. I guess we still had some good racing after that. But yeah, it's this thing you've got to be so easy on the throttle to keep from spinning tires off the corner. You got to kind of let it roll into the corner, bounce off that cushion without trying to bounce off the wall, which I did entirely too many times. But it was fun, kept you on your toes.
Yeah, we noticed that not, and it wasn't just you. Everybody seemed to get into the wall more down in 1 and 2, which surprised me because with street stocks earlier, everybody was getting into the wall down in 3 and 4. What made 1 and 2 a little bit harder? Were you just carrying more speed going down into there, or what? Just the shape of the corner. What made that more difficult to keep it off the wall down there?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure because this is really, I guess, technically the third race or second race that I've done here. So I don't know the track that well yet, but I did learn it seemed if you kind of diamond off a 3 and 4, you carried good speed. So that was probably part of it. Carrying extra speed over there in the 1 and 2, and to get a good lap time, you had to have those right side tires on that cushion, and just trying to get the car turned without scrubbing off speed, getting it too sideways, and keeping it up there was just a challenge. So I felt like Brandon was a little faster than me towards the end of the race, but I think whenever I made a mistake and hit the wall, he followed me into it, as we all tend to do when the guy in front of us does that. So I guess that worked on defense for me, but like I said, it kept us on our toes. It was a good time.
Well, now the big question left I have to ask is, you're now a Raiders driver. The Raiders are doing the dash for cash here. Are you going to go try to get that $15?
I doubt it. Even if I ran it, I haven't been in a sprint car in a while. I don't think I'd really have a shot.
Well, if you do, just go over to our team where our sets are. Grab the Knoxville set, and you might have to play around with the gear. That's probably the route I'd go.
All right. Well, I'll probably just put this modified in the hauler and go watch out in the stands or something.
Fair enough. Good run tonight. Who would you like to give a shout out to?
Shout out to all the guys for a really fun race. That was one of the more enjoyable races I've had in quite a while. So first to everybody that was on the track there, that was good. Then we always have to say our thanks to Coolray and sponsorship for the leagues that they support. Midwest Turbo Performance, Centrifugal Specialties, anybody looking for turbochargers, superchargers, anything to make it go fast in a straight line. EFI systems, go check mtpturbo.com out. New products coming soon, custom built supercharger design, so go look at that. And everybody that helps in the league and those that take their time out of their day to watch us, thanks for doing that.
All right, then. Hey, that's Steven Spees, our third place finisher here in UMP Modifieds. Good running tonight, bud.
Thank you.
Now joining us, John, is our second place finisher, Nicholas Vickery. Nicholas, this is Travis up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How are y'all?
I'm good. Could you kind of walk us through that battle? You had a great battle while leading there with Tater. It ended up with you in second, him in the lead. Could you kind of walk us through that battle?
Yeah, I was listening to Speeds' interview as well, and like he said, the first half of that race, man, that's probably the most fun I've had in a long time, especially in the UMPs. We were all racing really close, and there was a little giving and taking, but it wasn't anything crazy, and I couldn't think of a better group of guys to do that with. So, it was definitely a fun race tonight. But yeah, man, I don't know what we're gonna do with Tater this season. I was talking to Speeds after the race, and I told him, I think the only way I'm gonna have a chance of beating Tater this season is if we pack race, just with not a lot of cautions, but we don't get all strung out. Because once we get strung out, it's consistency over everything. And when we were in a pack, all four of us trading sliders, it kind of slows them down just enough to where we can kind of compete with them. So I don't know, we're gonna have to figure something out because he's 2 for 2 so far this season.
Well, with him starting out like that, and you sound like you're already at the point of going, okay, how do we beat him the rest of the season? How do you kind of attack the rest of the season? What do you need to happen to make some gains on Tater and try to get him beat on the track?
I don't know. obviously, I think everybody that runs in any division in coast to coast, I hope, but specifically the UMPs, because it's a handful of a car to drive. But there's not a doubt in my mind that whoever's racing in it is going to do it with respect, right? So I don't think that there's going to be anybody that would do anything crazy. But I think it's just going to take consistency. If anybody's going to have a chance of beating Tater, it's going to have to be somebody that consistently finishes in the top 2 or 3.
Well, great run tonight, Nicholas. You were fast early, and then you come away with a second place finish, which is great. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before you pack away the UMP for the night?
Yes, sir. Definitely got to shout out Spartan Racing. After that would be VMR Wraps. If anybody there needs a wrap, come check us out on Facebook at VMR Wraps. Miriam Majado Spa, my wife, for letting me do this. Of course, you got to thank Mr. Andy over at Cool Ray, Roger and Preston for putting everything together, and then also, you got to give a shout out to a lot of the admins tonight. The UMP race got pushed back a little bit, so they had to create a new server in a hurry. And so shout out to Barker and Bill Calder; they were both working on that. So definitely can't forget those guys. But yeah, other than that, you guys were putting on a great show. I listened all night, and I heard the excitement in your voices when we were all racing real hard. So.
Well, it was fun to watch, exciting, great finish for you, Nicholas, and we will see you throughout the rest of the summer series.
All right, thanks, guys.
John, you have our winner in the UMPs, Tater Williams.
Yeah, Tater, this is John. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, Bud, that was a heck of a lot of fun to watch. Was it just as much fun to be in the middle of that battle there for the first half of that race anyway?
It was, but I gotta apologize to Zach. I kind of ruined his race on that bonehead slider I threw, and I thought I was gonna have a good enough run down the back stretch that I could charge it into 3 and clear them both. But I cleared them, but it just wasn't very clean. So I'm gonna have to go apologize to him. Maybe buy him a cheeseburger or something.
A Scooby snack. That's probably what you got to find, a Scooby snack. But you set Nick up pretty good there over in 3 and 4. I asked this earlier of somebody else. With all those slide jobs you were doing, which end of the track was more beneficial to do a slide job where you could keep your momentum up and kind of defend against that crossover?
If I could slide them in 1 and 2 and slide up to the cushion coming out of 2, I could drag race pretty good down the back stretch, and I know the cushion's tall in 3 and 4, so I could really diamond off and check the brakes and just cut under them and have a good run. But 1 and 2 is very treacherous tonight. The cushion was very slim up there, and I don't know, you just had to be easy with it, otherwise you were tearing a lot of right fronts off.
Yeah, I told Steven I was out there in practice with you guys, and I was actually taken a little bit back at the difficulty level of getting this car around this track. Did you find this probably, would you agree that this is probably the toughest car track combo for this particular car?
So, especially when you have a tall cushion in 3 and 4, or 1 and 2, there's a humongous hole right in the center, and it'll just throw you right into the wall. So, if you're not wide open going through it, it'll definitely throw you for a loop and have a tore up race car.
Absolutely. Well, hey man, congratulations on making it 2 for 2. Who would you like to give a shout out to?
I gotta thank Andy Piercefield over at Cool Ray for all he does for me. It means the world to me. I gotta thank all my guys back at Chipbangers Racing. They do a hell of a job all week long, and excuse my language, but they just support me and keep me going, man. Gotta thank Combs Cuts, B&B Bates, DC Smith, Taylor. Got a shout out to her. Dylan Perry, Austin McGlone, Combs, Brandon Bender, all the guys. They helped me a ton.
Well, Tater, go answer that phone. It's probably a congratulations call on your win here tonight. So, congratulations again on the win. Hopefully, we'll see you again next week, and see you Thursday in the late model too. So, we'll see you then. That is Tater Williams, our winner tonight.
So with that, our UMP Modifieds feature comes to a conclusion. Tater Williams, Nicholas Vickery, Stephen Spees, Brandon Templeton, Zach Chapman round out our top 5. Don't leave now. We have one more session of Cool Ray Hometown Heroes tonight at Port Royal Speedway. When we come back, we will have our Dash for Cash presented by Gambler Motorsports. We appreciate you tuning in to Cool Ray Hometown Heroes tonight. You're watching Extreme E-Speed TV on Coast to Coast Racing League Network, and we will be back shortly.
leader in our industry.
The lifetime parts and labor warranty is pretty awesome. Basically, all the parts are covered, the labor and everything.
When we say lifetime, we mean lifetime, and it's supported with money-back guarantees. And with that, you're getting all qualified technicians that are going to ensure that this job is done perfectly and operates perfectly throughout the life of the unit.
Learn more about our Coolray lifetime parts and labor warranty at Coolray.com. Coolray and Carrier. Turn to the experts.
Welcome back to Port Royal Speedway. We have our Gambler Motorsports Dash for Cash. Tonight it's going to be the Raiders division presented by Malcolm's Mills Mill Rating. So John, we have a small field here for this Dash for Cash tonight. It will process the same. We'll have qualifying presented by ABR Setup Shop. We will have a heat race, and then we will have the main event. And the winner will take away a little bit of cash.
Yeah, $15 to win here, and for these guys, this is our the guys that are eligible to run this here tonight are from the Raiders division. So anybody out there that knows that they're in the Raiders division, you got maybe about a minute or two to try to hop in here and take a run at some money here.
So this will conclude our Coolray Hometown Heroes night here from Port Royal Speedway. We appreciate you tuning in all night. What started with the street stocks, we moved to some 305 sprint cars presented by A&J Custom Creations. Just finishing up was the UMP Modifieds presented by Flatline Racing Bodies. So some great racing coming here from Port Royal Speedway in Pennsylvania. And right now for our Dash for Cash, we've got Kurt Schatzer, Joseph Grandy, and Steven Bixler as their practice session is winding up. And we will move on to ABR Setup Shop qualifying. So the cars will get ready to go out on the track for qualifying session.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of good racing here tonight on this track. It looks like for the more high-powered cars, it looks like you do get options here, especially ones that have a lot of downforce, which, you know, Travis, next week, I think our other gig that we do with the Pro Dirt Model Series, I think we're coming here next week.
A little Pennsylvania Speed Weeks for the Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series. You guys will race at Port Royal and Williams Grove on Tuesday night and then following up on Wednesday. So you guys will definitely be up in this neck of the woods for some point action in regards to the Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series. You can watch that on Extreme E-Speed TV, myself and Adam Johnson over there on that YouTube channel for all season action. And then also Sunday night, John, you and I will be back on the call for the Light Electric Company Next Gen Series as well, as they are at Daytona.
Yeah, it'll be neat to see those cars back up at the high banks. They put on an exciting race at the beginning of the season there at Daytona. I think it came down to a last lap deal there, which a lot of Daytona races do. So looking forward to that. And if you're listening, please tune in and check it out.
So you can follow the Extreme E-Speed TV network on YouTube and Facebook for all that action. Just like you can watch the Coast or subscribe and like the Coast to Coast Racing League Facebook and YouTube channels as well. Just some great series, some great racing action, and some fun iRacing leagues that put on great shows every night and have a bunch of really good drivers that get along as well as possible when packed onto a dirt track.
Absolutely. And looking here just at the qualifying, how it shakes down, you're going to see Kurt Schatzer set quick time, and about a tenth behind him is going to be Joseph Grandy. And then as the mayor, I think one of the mayors out there, I don't know if it's Mauer or Bixler, but there's like a group of guys here at C2C that are like from just like around the Knoxville area. I forgot Blake Chapman's from around there. I know Steve Mauer is, Bixler. Um, I know I'm missing guys. Josh Gerlach, who has come in and out and raced with us a few times. He's from up in that area. There's just a hotbed of C2C racers that come out of that area.
So qualifying will come to an end. Schatzer's going to be P1, Grandy second, Bixler third. And that will be our ABR Setup Shop qualifying session for our Dash for Cash presented by Gambler Motorsports. And John, that gets us into heat race number 1 presented by Langton Mechanical. And you've got our starting lineup.
Yeah, on the pole is going to be that 75 machine of Mr. Steven Bixler, and outside to him, on the outside of the front row, will be the 518 of Joseph Grandy. And then the starting shotgun on this field is going to be the 218, our reigning late model champion, and I do believe he won last night. I think he won last night in the Renegade, or not the Renegades, but the Rebels or the easy for me to say, the Raiders division, and it's Kurt Schatzer. So Kurt's showing a little bit of, should I say, an expansion of his racing prowess here. He's able to conquer these fire-breathing sprint cars too.
So they are lined up and ready to go here in heat race number 1. It'll be our only heat race. The finishing lineup for this will set our feature field for the Dash for Cash presented by Gambler Motorsports.
And I hate to poke fun at the obvious here, but I think the payout for this is $15 for the winner. I think it might be 10 for second and 5 for third. So, well, looking at the field here, every one of these guys are going to make some money tonight.
Make some money tonight. We'll the qualifying order's inverted here, so they'll flip it there, and we'll see how it sets us up for the feature event with these same 3 drivers. A lot of track time at Port Royal.
Yeah, and this is I was out there ghosting a little bit with these guys, and this car, out of all the cars that we've had tonight, it was actually the most fun out there. You can really get it going around these corners, and much faster than the 305. You'll even notice this right when these cars take off.
So Bixler Grandy will lead us back to racing action here at Port Royal. The Steve King Foundation pace truck pulls into the infield as the cars make their way through turns 3 and 4. They'll come down the long front stretch here at Port Royal, and we will get back to racing action. And Bixley and Grandy will take us to green in heat race number 1 presented by Layton Mechanical. As Grandy battles back on that outside, he'll be able to get past Bixler for the lead going into 3 and 4.
Yeah, it looked like Grandy got a little bit of tire spin there on that start when he gassed it up. A nice recovery there, was able to drive right around the top there and get around Bixler. But now Schatzer does move into second. He was the quicker out of the 3 of these guys in qualifying, so we'll see if he can run down Grandy in the time left here.
4 laps to go. You can definitely see the speed difference in the cars we've had on the track earlier in the night.
Yeah, and looking at Schatzer's car too, we got to give a shout out to Got Your Six Racing Network. They will bring you the action here in CTC both tomorrow night and Friday night. So go out to the like us here, and you'll see them bring more action here later in the week. Joe Halter will be on the call with those guys as now we got a battle for the lead.
So Schatzer moves to the inside of Grandy through 1 and 2. A lot of movement by that Grandy machine on the outside. As Schatzer's not able to complete the pass, he'll fall in line as they go through 3 and 4.
Yeah, he thinks better of it, and this guy's got 1 lap here to try to figure something out, maybe take another course of action. He's got to have a run coming out of turn 2 here.
And he makes his move through 3 and 4. Grandy battles back on the inside, and it is going to be Grandy at the line. So you're
going to put Grandy on the pole.
So it's going to be Grandy, Schatzer, Bixler, and we'll get right into our feature event for our Gambler Motorsports Dash for Cash.
Gonna let them go out and warm up now for 5 minutes. But yeah, they Got Your Six Racing Network mentioned a little bit. I do believe they're going to have sprint cars, and they got Friday Night Lights that have, I think it's a 305, the limited late models, and I forget what else is out there. But Joe Halter every week does an outstanding job bringing you the action. So, come back tomorrow and tune in, and you'll see Joe bringing you more C2C action.
And then Thursday night, I'll be back on the call for Thursday Night Thunder, filling in for Marty this week. So we will be back with some Thursday Night Thunder as well. Full weeks of racing action here from the Coast to Coast Racing League.
Absolutely. You know what the best part is, especially what we've experienced here in the Midwest here lately? Number 1, you can watch it from the comfort of your own home. Number 2, no rainouts. So we're guaranteed to get the races in.
No rainouts up there in the Midwest. Down here in the Southeast, there's no heat advisories.
Yep.
Wherever we're racing. So.
Did you watch that SRX race the other night?
I did not. I was not home to watch it. I caught the end of it, but I enjoyed that series last year, and I'll definitely tune in the rest of this summer.
Yeah, they crawled out of their cars at one of the breaks, and I'm telling you, it looked like they just ran the Daytona 500. Those guys were having to sit down. I was really surprised to see. I mean, Helio Castroneves, that's probably one of the fittest guys. I know he's getting up there a little bit in age, but I mean, he's still in race shape. He was sucking wind getting out of those cars in the heat, and he was talking about that's probably the hottest he's ever been. So that heat's out there, and I mean, I've been out there, and anybody that's never touched a fire suit, those fire suits, they breathe well, but I'm here to tell you, those fire suits are a couple, 2-3 pounds, maybe even more than that, probably more like 5 or 6 pounds. I mean, they're not light, and they're thick, and you put the helmet on, and I'll tell you, especially with those cars that have windshields like those do, you don't get the air coming through and everything else. I can't even imagine how hot those guys had to be. But I tell you, Travis, I've got tickets. They're coming to I-55 this year. I have tickets. I'll be at the I-55 SRX race, which will be really cool.
That's awesome. All I think about is some of those guys obviously retired. And,
yes.
And they'll still put themselves through like they did at Five Flags the other night just to get back in a race car and race.
Yeah, and Mike Waltrip even said it. He's like, well, I'm in treadmill shape, but man, that is not doing me any good here. So, and he looked winded too. And yeah, he's been out of the car, a decade now, a decade and a half. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out who else was out in there. Tony's been out of it probably now 5-6 years, but he runs sprint cars, and there's a couple others that Bill Elliott's been out of it now for almost 20 years, getting close to that point for him. And old Bill hung in there, and Bill had a good run too. So it'll be neat to see them. I think they're going to South Boston this week, so I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, they have. They made some changes to the schedule for this year, and it definitely didn't get any easier or less fun for the viewers.
No, it sure didn't. And speaking of our viewers probably want to know the starting lineup here, and we're getting ready to roll off. And on the pole is going to be the 518, our heat race winner, Joseph Grandy, he's going to lead him to the green here. Outside that front row will be the 218. That'll be Kurt Schatzer. And starting out back will be Mr. Steven Bixler here. It'll be interesting to see. We saw that Grandy kind of spin the tires on that last race here. If he does that here, he's going to be a little more trouble because he's not going to have that outside to regain that momentum and shoot off at turn 2.
So our starting lineup for tonight's main event, as always, presented by We Let the Dogs Out For You. We Let the Dogs Out For You Pet Service. And we are green in our Gambler Motorsports Dash for Cash. Jumping out front, it is the 518 of Joseph Grandy. Battling back, though, is Kurt Schatzer. He's right in his tire tracks as they go through 3 and 4.
And Grandy's got an advantage here right now. Kurt Schatzer, though, is right on his rear bumper. Schatzer's going to dive it down to the inside, try to slide up here in front of Grandy coming out of turn 2. He completes the pass.
And now the 75 of Bixler gets into the battle as well, as he's on the inside of Grandy, but it's going to be Schatzer who leads the lap and carries momentum through 1 and 2.
Yeah, they were almost 3 wide coming out of 4 last time out of there. Now the top 2 have kind of gotten a little bit of difference distance between them and Bixler there in third, but Bixler's hanging in there as Schatzer continues to lead as they come across the start finish line and go through 1 and 2.
So Schatzer continues to lead. Grandy right behind him, makes a move through 3 and 4. They'll be side by side as they come down the front stretch, but it's going to be Schatzer who leads the lap. 40 laps will make up this A-Main, our final race of the night for Coolray Hometown Heroes.
Yeah, the top 2 are still nose to tail there, and I tell you, Grandy keeps looking to that inside, trying to get that to go. He can keep testing that as they got a little bit of difference now between them and third place, Steven Bixler. So he can test something. Oh, now he's into the wall. That's going to separate those guys.
So Schatzer will pull away from Grandy after Grandy gets into the wall, having troubles through 1 and 2 now as he tries to get his rhythm back.
Big question will be now, will Grandy be able to run him back down?
So Schatzer will lead. We've got 8 laps complete of 40 here at Port Royal. It's the Gambler Motorsports Dash for Cash.
And to point out, our other races tonight all went 30 laps. This one's 40, so these cats got to go a little bit further.
So Schatzer continues to lead. This time we will flip over to lap number 10 as they are spread out. We'll look at the intervals. Just over 1 second as Grandy tries to chase down Schatzer.
Yeah, and I think Grandy might have hurt that car just a little bit. The back end looks just a little bit more unstable than what it did a few laps, prior to him hitting that wall. And I think that's allowed Bixler to kind of close up a little bit.
And Grandy's actually closed up the gap through 3 and 4 on Schatzer. The lead that was once over a second is now under a second. But Schatzer's able to extend that through 1 and 2. Really, depending on the corner and how you get through it determines your gap between you and the car ahead or behind you.
Yeah, and again, if I'm in Kurt Schatzer's shoes and behind his wheel, I look at my relative and see that I've got a comfortable distance, and at that point I can start being a little conservative, not really pushing it as fast as it'll go, making sure I don't get off the wall, maybe even run in the middle of the track or run low like Kurt is. And just kind of watch that gap. Once it gets to a point, maybe get back up on the wheel a little bit, and if I can, stretch it back out. If not, at the very least, try to maintain it.
So Grandy continues to try to hold off Bixler for second. Out front, it's Kurt Schatzer. 15 laps now complete of 40 in tonight's Gambler Motorsports Dash for Cash.
And these guys are clicking off laps at a pretty quick pace, 16-second laps. It's not going to take him long to get through this 40 here.
Now we'll flip over 24 laps to go in this main event. This race will conclude our hometown heroes for this week from Port Royal Speedway.
Yeah, and these guys behind him, Travis, you know, you not only can you try different lines to try to gain on the guy in front of you, that big wing on the top, you can adjust that real time inside the car. You can either map a button or use, you know, your paddles or whatever the case might be. These guys can move their wing forward and backward, either to give them more grip or give them more downforce on the nose to get more straight line speed. I don't know where they're running their wings at, but you do have options here to try to make that car better.
So Grandy has held off Bixler, put some space back between him. He's still about a second behind the leader of Schatzer.
And Bixler just caught the wall coming out of four that last lap. Now there's a big gap between second and third.
And if there were to be a caution, John, you would think Grandy would repair whatever damage he has on his car, fall back to third, and welcome that pack closing up.
Yeah, since there's only three, I probably would pit just to rather be safe than sorry. It wouldn't be too hard to get your position back. But I'll tell you, there's moments like right now, the last couple laps, he appears to be closing ever so slightly on the 218. So I don't know, maybe there's not something, but like I said, it could also be a case of Schatzer just kind of, you know, being conservative out there and not taking any big chances and trying to push it too much. So we do have a caution.
So the caution will come out for Steven Bixler. We'll watch a replay with our Mills.
I think he's out of gas. That car is not running.
And that is what the Malcolm Mills mill rating replay shows as well.
That car is not fired. And yeah, I'm listening to the in-car. I went back a little bit further before he came to a stop, and going into turn one, all of a sudden that telltale sign cut out. He had a chance to pull it down onto pit road and didn't turn down there, and it's probably better maybe that he made it. But the thing is about these cars, they're not going to allow him to fuel it, so that's his night.
So Bixler will finish third in our Dash for Cash. It'll bring Grandy up alongside of Schatzer for this Mission 22 restart.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I guess now they're on the one to go. I was going to say I would have dove down and at least gotten me a fresh set of wheels there if I was Grandy, but he was kind of closing, so I don't think it's not going to hurt him not doing it, I suppose, is what I'm getting at.
So the Steve King Foundation Pace Truck dives into the infield. We'll have a Mission 22 restart here in our Dash for Cash. It's Schatzer, Grandy now. The final two remain. Schatzer will lead us to green. He gets that gap on Grandy to start. And Grandy will make a move on his inside through 1 and 2.
Yep. Grandy is looking strong there on the bottom, and he's not really losing too much momentum, but it does look that 218 still has just a bit more drive off the corner, though, being on that high line.
So this time by, we'll have 13 laps to go as these two continue to battle. Schatzer has the preferred line and positioning in the front there as Grandy continues to try to get up alongside and make a move for the lead.
Yeah, this caution did bring them back together, but once again, I think it might have been a case where Schatzer was just kind of being conservative, because Schatzer definitely looks much faster than Grandy at this point, is able to open back up a bit of a lead here.
So this time by, we will have 10 laps to go at Port Royal, and it will conclude our Tuesday night this week with the Coolray Hometown Heroes. It's been a pleasure joining you as always, John. Next week we'll be back with Andy Piercefield and John for the Bleacher Bums.
Yeah, I'll have to put up with your old man, I guess. Hope he's having fun down there in Florida. I don't know. He didn't mention to me what he was going down there for, but someone should have told him if he's looking to beat the heat, he probably should have gone north. I saw pictures of Roger, who was on vacation up there bass fishing, and the guy looked like, I mean, he was bundled up like it was in November. Well, at least for November down here. Probably a bit colder up there up in Canada.
Yeah, it is not winter weather down here in the southeast. He was traveling to Florida for more work than pleasure. And yeah, Florida in the summer definitely not the preferred destination between afternoon thunderstorms and then really humid hot days around that.
Yeah, but I love Miami. I think I'd put up with that stuff to be down there in Miami every day. That's a great city.
You seem like a Miami guy, John.
Cultured hillbilly. I'd fit in perfectly.
So with that, we are coming to 5 laps to go for Kurt Schatzer as he stretched out his lead over Joseph Grandy here in this Gambler Motorsports Dash for Cash. Schatzer will try to keep it straight for 4 more laps this time by, and he will take home $15 for his victory.
Yeah, not a bad night here. He's really stretched that lead out too, so it'd be nice. That's enough to buy a track or another car or something, so that's not a bad night here. You can do a lot of things with that money in iRacing.
3 laps to go. Really looking like he's in a groove now here around Port Royal Speedway. He will take the white flag this time around. 1 more lap around Port Royal. Sorry, 2 more laps. 2 more laps to go. I was imagining things there.
Well, at least you're not going full Mark Martin and pulling off the track at Bristol, 1 to go or whatever.
Hey, I picked a winner tonight. I'm feeling good.
Kurt
Schatzer will come around 3 and 4. He will take the checkered at Port Royal Speedway and take home the Dash for Cash presented by Gambler Motorsports.
And nice run for Kurt there. Was able to, once he got the lead, was able to kind of pull away there.
So we will have fun watching these 2 drivers find a way to victory lane here at Port Royal. And then we will interview our top 3 drivers. Finishing order, Kurt Schatzer, Joseph Grandy, and Steven Bixler round out our Dash for Cash.
And while we wait for those guys, we should thank again, Cool Ray. This, Travis, probably better than anybody. You guys are down there, Atlanta area. I do believe you guys got same day service, and if you need a tune-up or that air is not coming out quite as cold as it used to be, they should give you guys a call. And we thank you for the Cool Ray sponsorship on the league and everything else.
Of course, it's fun to help support, and also all the great racing action we get to see. It's fun, and it's a fun compliment to we sponsor a NASCAR Xfinity Car Series throughout the season. We've been the primary on that at Atlanta, at Talladega. So make sure you tune in and check that car out as well to see the Cool Ray colors, not only on iRacing, but in the real world at a NASCAR track as well.
Yeah, and for me, being a child of the 80s and liking that glam metal, it was kind of cool to see that opening night of that Poison Motley Crue Def Leppard show at Atlanta there where the Braves played, and you see that Cool Ray sign, and you can see Motley Crue down in front. So for me, that was kind of cool.
Definitely. So cool. We have our podium finishers. John, you've got our 3rd place finisher, Steve Bixler.
Yeah, Steve, this is John up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, John, how you doing?
Not too bad. First of all, did you fire your crew chief after I think he left you a little short on fuel?
Yeah, I didn't realize it was 40 laps. And my bonehead mistake there. So nobody to
Well,
blame but myself, right?
trust me, I can count on both hands, not one, but both hands, how many times that I've done that after qualifying, getting a heat race on Monday night, and get about 3 laps in and start sputtering and realize, oh, I didn't put fuel in the car. So I'm there with you, man. I've been there. So, but you know, it was kind of fun there at the beginning there. You guys, I saw a couple times three wide. And what'd you think of running this track and the 360?
Well, there was a lot of grip out there, because we didn't have that many cars, and was trying to figure out what gear to run here, and you know, these other guys were a lot faster than I were, and I figured I got to find some speed here someplace to even run with them. So I tried different lines, and you know, like I said, in the A main there, I was a lot better than I was in the heat. So, but it's just too bad I didn't put enough fuel in. I probably wouldn't have caught them guys anyway, but that would have been fun.
Well, did you learn anything for when you guys come back here in the Raiders? Did you learn anything that you could take away and apply to that night? I mean, even if it was setup wise.
Well, I think so. I mean, of course, you run on regular Raiders night, and the track's a lot different. It's slicker, I guess, and it's a little bit different that way. But running it like tonight here in the A main there, when I was messing around with the gear and figure out what I had to run, I think I can use that later.
Well, awesome. Well, I tell you, I mentioned you're from up there in Iowa, and I know I forgot, guys, but there's like we always hear about like the Pennsylvania posse or the Alabama gang, but you've got like an Iowa gang up there going. It's like you, Maurer, Chapman. Who am I missing up there that's from that area? I felt like I was missing somebody.
Well, that's all from right here in our little town. We all
Yeah.
run together. We all know each other real well, of course, because it's a town of 1,000 people. So you know, everybody in town is the way it is.
That is really cool. That I don't know why that's always fascinated me and whatnot. And I hope to go up to Knoxville at some point this time, some point in time this season. And I hope to meet you guys if you guys are around that track on that particular night. But congratulations on a third place finish here tonight. Who would you like to give a shout out to?
Well, I got to first of all thank Gambler Motorsports for putting up the money. I really appreciate that, and Mauer Farm Management and Flatline Racing Bodies, and of course Blake Chapman.
Well, awesome again, guys, and you guys all put on a really good show here, and congratulations again, and hopefully we'll see you back next Tuesday in the 305 and the other races, and good luck and all the other races the rest of the week.
All right, John. Thanks a lot. Maybe we'll catch you out there at Knoxville or at Dingus or something there sometime too. So.
Absolutely. Last time I was out there, I didn't get to go over to the Dingus, so I feel like I missed out because the other times that I've been there, I got to go over there. So I got to make up for lost time, definitely. So hopefully we can hook up out there. But again, congratulations on a good run here tonight, Steve.
All right. Sorry about running out of fuel. It would have made a better show if I would have, like I said, put enough fuel in. But it's the way it goes sometimes.
You know what? To be honest with you, I was just happy, and not happy for you, but I was happy to see. Okay, I'm not the only guy that doesn't do that. I've probably had to fire a few crew chiefs for it. Like I said, I can count on both hands the number of times I've done that very thing. So it's not something that's happened just once or twice. It happens to me quite a bit. So have a good night, my friend, and we'll talk at you somewhere down the road.
All right, thanks, John.
Yep.
Now joining us, our second place finisher, Joseph Grandy. Joseph, it's Travis up in the booth. You got a copy?
Oh.
So
Sorry,
early,
now.
no problem. Early in the race, you and Kurt got together, caused some damage to you, and caused you to fall back. Could you kind of talk us through what happened there and what happened during your pursuit to get back up to Schatzer?
I really couldn't catch up to him. I forgot to calibrate my wheel, so it was really tight, and that was really about it. I couldn't really do a whole lot.
So when that caution comes out late and bunches you back up and gets you back up to Kurt, did you feel like you had anything for him to get past him?
No, I was scared to go up top because I was so tight. I just didn't even want to hit the wall, and even I just played it safe.
Well, it was a small field tonight. When you go into something like that, looking for some dash for cash winnings, what was your strategy prior to the race, and what were you trying to get out of that 40 lap feature tonight?
Uh, I was trying to make it exciting, but that didn't happen. But just to finish it and race clean.
Well, great run for you tonight, Joseph. Finishing second to Schatzer there. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we close it down for the evening?
I just appreciate Gambler for doing what they're doing.
Awesome. That is our second place finish, Joseph Grandy. And now we will move on to our finishing winner for tonight's Dash for Cash with John. It's Kurt Schatzer.
Kurt, this is John. You got a copy?
Hey, John, how you doing?
I'm doing well. You're last I checked, a late model champion. Did you bump your head and became a sprint car driver all of a sudden? What is that? 2 wins this week?
Yeah, I think that might be it. I don't know. I think I might like them a little bit.
Good. Then so that means you'll miss some more of the late models, then, right?
Nah, we just had a good setup for Fairbury to race the last night, and I really like Port Royal. That's pretty close, about an hour away from me.
Were you able to get a set together for this, or did you run the iRacing default?
Just iRacing default and messed around with gear, and of course put more gas in it.
Yeah, that I noticed it was 40, and I thought, I wonder how many guys picked it up because we've been running 30 all night, and I had kind of wondered early on if anybody would run out, and somebody I actually did. And you had a spirited battle to get the lead there. Can you walk me through the battle there and what it took to get the lead?
Oh, he raced me pretty clean. I mean, it was just did a couple sliders back and forth. If I remember right, I think I got around him on the outside, or maybe I did a slider. I can't remember. 40 laps ago was a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, I also the other question I had is, you were able to drive away from him it seemed at will at points, but then he would seem to run you back down just a little bit. Were you at that point kind of being conservative and just kind of watching your relative, and then when he got close to you, kind of got back into it, or was you just kind of struggling through the middle part of that race?
No, I mean it's a pretty big track, so I didn't know. I knew we were going to be short or close on fuel, so I figured once I got a decent enough lead, maybe just try to run around the bottom, conserve a little bit, and when I felt him getting a little close, to jump back up on the high side and give her hell.
Well, but it worked out completely here, and like I said, I thought you were a late model guy, and you're
Well, I
losing
like the
your
track.
you're losing your late model. Yeah, but you're 2 for 2. You ran Fairbury too, won, so you're losing that late model cred.
Oh,
It is giving you a hard time, my friend. But I tell you, good start to this early part of the season here. And best of all, this one's got to put a little cash in your pocket.
oh yeah, that's right. Well, yeah.
You
Well,
gonna buy
thank
a
you.
are you gonna buy a track, or you gonna buy a car?
Oh, we'll see. Maybe, yeah, I might send it towards getting another wrap done or something.
Or a wrap. That's a good point. Um, Forgot those are always out there to get done too. So, well, hey, congratulations. A nice dominating victory tonight. That makes it 2 nights in a row here. I don't know if you run anything tomorrow night, but I know that I'll see you on Thursday, and I do wish you the best of luck on Thursday. But with that, is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to for your win here?
Well, yeah, all the guys on our team, Joe Halter, Brandon Templeton, Brian Dickens, Greg Boydell, uh, Dirt Track Bank, they just came on board to sponsor us. Got Your Six Racing Network, uh, VMR Wraps. Nick just got the wrap done for me today and just debuted it tonight.
It's a
Um,
sharp wrap, by the way.
yeah, well, thank you. Thank Nick for it here. Um, yeah, I believe that's it. And all you guys in Gambler for putting this on for us. It was a pretty cool deal. I wish we could have got more guys out here and could have put on a little better of a show. had some more racing going on.
Absolutely. We'll see what happens this next week. But tonight, enjoy that victory and enjoy that money when it comes your way. And good luck here for the rest of the races this week.
Well, appreciate it, John. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. That's Kurt Schatzer, tonight's Raiders Dash for Cash victor.
So, John, that will close out our Cool Ray Hometown Heroes night from Port Royal Speedway. Do you have anything for us, John, before we close it down for another night and conclude another night of Hometown Heroes?
No, I'd just like to thank everybody for watching. Thank all the drivers for putting on a good show, and thank you for putting up with me for the night and another fun night in the books here.
Always fun joining you, John. I appreciate everyone tuning in. Coast to Coast Racing League will be back in action tomorrow night, so make sure you tune in. We will sign off from Port Royal Speedway, and we look forward to seeing you back at a track soon.
This copyrighted broadcast of Extreme eSpeed TV Network is intended solely for the entertainment of the audience. Any retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without express written consent of the Extreme eSpeed TV Network is strictly prohibited. We hope you've enjoyed this broadcast.